Hey kids, do you like wrestling? Well, we like wrestling too. We are Shake Them Ropes here on the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network. Myself and Chris Novembrino kind of doing a lazy river of wrestling criticism, going through the news and whatever happened in stateside television wrestling. And also, you know what? Sometimes we just like to watch old stuff and talk about that too. Love for you to give us a listen. If you haven't already, we are Shake Them Ropes here on the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network.
Do you like wrestling trivia? Then check out the 5-Star Match Game, the Pro Wrestling Quiz Show. I'm Joe Gagney, and every episode, I grill 3 contestants with 5 rounds of power-packed wrestling trivia. We have over 30 evergreen episodes in the archives covering WWE, AEW, Japan, Mexico, and much, 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 much more. Play along at home and check it out today.
This podcast is a member of the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network. Visit voicesofwrestling.com to hear the rest of our great podcasts, as well as show reviews, columns, opinions, and updates across the world of wrestling.
Mickey, fishy.
You are listening to the Flagship Podcast with your hosts, Joe Lanza.
The fucking sun sucks. I don't know what you people see in the sun. I don't know how you people do the sun. It's just the dirt worst. I want nothing to do with it. I'd be content never going out in the sun again.
And Rich Crage.
This is the dumbest show. I cannot believe these people. Some people pay us $10 to listen to the show live. This is what we give them for 45 minutes.
Been doing this for 10 years. Why?
We're bigger than ever. More people listen to us than ever.
Why?
And we are live on the Flagship Podcast. I am Rich. He is Joe. Joe, what's happening? How are you?
Intro play?
It's been played, yeah.
Wow, I didn't hear it.
Yeah, no, they played. Retro. May 2022. Retro podcast intro there. The You Hate the Sun, and I think the show's dumb. So it's pretty consistent with what we've been doing for 10 years. Yeah, the classic intro from last year sticks with, people love the sun rant. People love, we have listeners that are very, very divided on, or I wouldn't say divided, I would say almost equally so in terms of the sun thing. It's there's a lot of people that agree with you that everybody is anti-sun and the sun stinks and you don't understand about the sun, and other people that think you're a nutcase and the sun's great and stuff. So, and that, honestly, it works for this show because I think the sun's great. I think it's fantastic, and you would be, as you said in the intro, perfectly content never being in the sun again.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who hate the sun. Like, I don't think I'm a weirdo necessarily for that.
No, certainly not. No, you are not on an island, as the kids would say, in terms of the no sun thing. But some people will present it as if you are. Where I get it. I am very pro sun. I enjoy the sun, but I understand that there are those people, and you're not alone. Several people do not like the sun. It's probably healthier to not like the sun because a lot of things can happen if you enjoy the sun too much. But it's okay. You need that vitamin D sometimes. So I like the sun.
You need a little bit of sun. You can't go with zero sun.
Well, you said you'd be perfectly content never being in the sun again.
Yeah, I mean,
but that's like a prolonged sun hang is what you're saying. Like, I'm not gonna go hang out in the sun. Like, it's gotta crack through the windows, or you're not like a shut-in. Is I guess what you're trying to say, right?
No, I mean, look. You do have to get a little bit, that natural sunlight for whatever fucking vitamin that is.
D is the vitamin.
Yeah. But do I want to ever be in the? No, I don't ever want to be in the sun. I mean, sun's brutal. You sweat, you burn, you squint. It's all very uncomfortable.
Well, they have sunglasses for that. So you can
it's I don't wear sunglasses. I've never worn sunglasses.
You've never worn? Well, that's why you don't like the sun. Wear some sunglasses. Get some sunglasses, pal. What are you talking about?
Nah, listen.
You've never worn. Never in your life have you put sunglasses on. Is what you're saying?
Not one time.
Not one time ever in your life have you put sunglasses on. You're serious?
No, like not for real. Like I never wore sunglasses and then went about my day. No.
You've never driven with sunglasses?
Not one time.
Not one time? Driven. What do you do in the sun? What do? You just stare at the sun while you're driving?
It's like I said, I don't like the sun. That's why I don't want to be in it.
What do you do if you're driving and it's sunny? I'm sure it's sunny there in Texas sometimes. What are you doing as you're driving into a setting sun or a rising sun? What are you doing there?
Pull the visor down.
That's enough. That's enough for you.
squint.
Well, you don't have to. You just wear sunglasses.
I'm uncomfortable about accessories.
Okay.
I don't.
We need to unpack this a little bit. Watches, watch. Yeah. You're a no watch guy.
I've never worn a watch. No.
Never worn a watch. Okay.
No.
Not even as like a child. You don't go to a wedding and there's like a special watch you'll put on for a wedding or what? Never. Zero.
No, I was always very uncomfortable with watches from a young age, and I've just never worn a watch. Not decorative, and certainly not for function. I mean, there's, what is this, 1850? I have to pull out my pocket watch to.
That's a good look,
it's a quarter. It's a 8:45. No, I just look at your fucking phone. You don't even, But I understand people wear them to go with their, for style.
Yeah,
but I can't. Right. I would wear them for style. I'm not opposed to that, except I don't like how it feels on my skin. I can't wear accessories.
That's fair. Yeah,
I don't. There's times where I get dressed.
Yeah, go ahead.
There's times where I get dressed and I'm like, you know what? This would look good if I had a nice watch.
Right. But when you go to, I have a few, like, because normally, and we'll unpack this in a moment. I do have a watch that I wear every single day, but you'll make fun of me for it in a bit, and we'll get to that. But when I go to like a wedding or whatever, I have like 3 watches that are in my rotation of like, okay, I'm going to a wedding or I'm going to something where I have to dress up, so I put this dopey watch on. Now the problem is, most of the time that watch is not like functional at this point because I haven't worn it in like 7 months or whatever, and maybe the battery's shot and I'm like, no one's gonna notice that the time's wrong, and I'm not gonna, as you said, I'm not gonna look down and go, oh my goodness, look at the time, because I'm gonna just look at my phone, or someone will have the time, or someone will tell me the time. I'll be able to get it. I'll be just fine. So but I do have those to the side because they do put a nice suit together. A good watch puts a nice suit together. I will say that for sure.
I wish I could wear them. I can't do accessories.
Insert advertiser that recently advertised on us in the last year related to watches. But they're not advertising this show, so I'm not going to say their name. But if you go back and listen to a show from 6 months ago, yeah, maybe you'll be able to know my watch brand of choice, Joe. They got to pay the big bucks for that ad this time, though. They're done.
I mean, no jewelry. I've never worn jewelry. I thought I was really going to struggle with a wedding ring. I thought that was going to be a major problem. But it's not. I chose the lightest one I could possibly, like, I'm not one of these guys that has some big, giant, thick. I know black is in. The big,
the big, thick black one, yeah.
They probably weigh about half a pound. Like, I probably would struggle with that. I just picked the lightest gold one I could find, and it doesn't really bother. I fidget with it. I actually play with it constantly.
I get in trouble for that all the time. I take it off, I'm spinning it on the table, I'm bouncing it.
Yeah.
She's just like, what are you doing? It's like, well, what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? Yeah. Just,
you know what I do it all the time?
Keep it on my finger and not fidget with it the whole time? Yeah.
I always drop it into the crack abyss of the couch.
Oh.
And then then we have to like move the couch, get out the flashlights.
The worst. Because it's hard enough. You lose a remote there, and it's a 25-minute ordeal, which it shouldn't be. It should be very easy to find. It should have just dropped to the ground, but it never does. It's always in the worst part. You got to stick your hand in. There's dust and old food, and then the dogs are crawling over me trying to eat the old food and stuff. But like the watch, I don't even, or the ring, I don't know what you would do if you got it in the crack of the couch. I just say it's over.
We're done. Becomes the whole thing. We got to you got to shake it out, flip it upside down, look everywhere.
And you get chewed out every time as well, I'm sure.
I do this once a month. It falls into the crack abyss of the couch. There's at least 2 Amazon Fire Stick remotes somewhere in that couch. Like, can never
those
find
are
them.
So thin, so light. You're never getting those again. Yeah.
We just buy new ones. I'm like, all right, I'm going to Best Buy. I can't keep looking for this remote. It's and they know people lose these remotes because the Fire Stick itself is like $40 and the remote's $35.
Yeah, they got it. They got you.
And it's like you're fucked because you're like, I don't need another stick. I don't, but I need the fucking. They know you need the remote. So, that's a disaster. But yeah, who knows what else is in that couch. But no, that's the only piece of jewelry that I've ever worn. I can't wear jewelry.
You're not a gold chain guy. Everybody in the chat room assumes that because your name is Joe Lanza, anti-Italian discrimination here. Everybody, because your name is Joe Lanza, assumes that you have a gold chain.
I don't like that profile.
I don't either. I agree. No, it's not me. For the record, it is the people in the NoDopes chat room that are.
I am very weird about my neck. I can't have anything on I can't even wear a turtleneck. Like, I don't know why you would wear a turtleneck, but I can't wear it to, like, I can't have anything on my neck. It's weird. Like, I feel like I'm being choked. I don't know. I don't like neck
I've
stuff.
never worn a necklace. Never worn a necklace. Hate turtlenecks. Hate, if I'm wearing a polo shirt, a couple of I'm never going to the top button. If I wear a suit, I'm never top button unless, like, if I'm in the wedding, I'll get my fat neck into that top button or whatever so that the tie looks good. But the second, like, we're done with the actual part of the festivities, I'm out. It must be those. It's the supple necks. It's the supple necks that we have.
Maybe I know when when I watch horror movies, none of the gore bothers me except when people get their throats slashed. I can't watch that. Like, if I know there's a throat slash coming up and, like, the blood is gushing out of the throat, that I can't look at. Like, if I know that's coming, I'll turn away. If I see it by accident, it terrifies me. I can't. So anything involving the neck. So I'm not, no, I'm not a necklace guy. I don't wear anything. I don't wear, I don't even have I don't own a wallet. I don't do wallets. I just
don't do wallets. Okay. So who is it? Trent Beretta? Is he the guy that just stuffs his money into, like, a Ziploc bag and walks around with it?
No, I don't. It's just the debit card is loose. I don't know.
That is living on the edge, man. I can't do that. I am nervous for you that you can't do that. That's insane.
I'm going to tell you why.
Stop. This is insane.
No, I'm going to explain it to you. If you're a wallet guy and you've got everything in your wallet, if you lose your wallet, you lose your life. Like, you have to replace everything. If I just lose my debit card, I just call my bank, they give me a new one, and they shut the other one down. I don't lose my whole life. Like, if you leave your wallet somewhere or lose your wallet, everything's gone. You got to replace your license. You got to replace all your cards. You got to replace whatever's in that wallet. Social Security card if you keep one in there. All your fucking car, if you keep your car insurance and your car registry, anything in that wallet's gone. So why lose everything at once? If I'm going to lose something, I'd rather just lose one loose item.
So I feel like there's a healthy in between of, like, carrying your Social Security card and your vehicle registration in your wallet, and then also, like, my wallet has my driver's license and my debit card and, like, 2 other cards in it, and that's it.
Nah, driver's license and debit card in my right pocket, phone in my left pocket.
That's insane. I hate it. I just can't stand it. I can't believe you're doing that.
Does it make you anxious?
It makes me very anxious. Yeah, when you're, like, going in, like, how do you? I don't like it. It's giving me the creepy crawlies there that you're, like, pulling in you're trying to grab your debit card and then your license is going, flying out of your pocket and you have no idea. Like, that has to happen. It never happens.
I've never lost either of those items.
Well, all right, then I guess it's working.
If I do, I'm just going to lose one, right? Half the hassle.
I guess, yeah. We can't get you, like, a money clip or something like that? Nothing?
My wife got me one of those things that isn't really a wallet. It's just kind of like I don't know.
A money clip, like I just said, right?
It's not a money clip. It's like
okay.
I guess it is a wallet. It's like it's a leather gimmick with a couple slots in it.
Okay, all right. Yeah. Fashionable, nice and fashionable.
Yeah. So occasionally I'll carry that around, but that's, again, it presents the same problem. Like, if I lose that.
But just, okay, I get it. I get it. I hate it though. But I get it.
But I do use that. It's a nice item, but I'm not an accessory guy. Like TLB says, like, I'm horrible to buy gifts for because I don't want for anything. Like, I'm a minimalist. I don't have anything. Like, she's like, most guys, you can go get them a pair of sunglasses or a fucking wallet but you don't want any of these things. I'm like, nah, I don't want any of it. Just, I don't know. If it's my birthday, leave me alone. That's fine with me. Don't
my birthday present is go away. Like, put a game on and go away. I want you to have fun on your own without me. That's the best birthday present I could have. So let's
just go get a meal. I like going to get a nice meal.
Yeah, a nice meal. You are a hat guy though. You're a hat guy though, right?
I'm not a hat guy. No.
Yeah, I think you're lying. You're a hat guy.
No, I'm not. I don't own a hat.
You don't own a hat. You don't own a baseball cap. You don't have a baseball cap. You don't have a Reds cap with you.
I've never owned a Reds cap.
Really?
Never.
I thought you were a hat guy.
I was a hat. Right. I was a hat guy in a time of my life where they were very much in when I was younger, and you had to be a hat guy. But ever since then, I haven't been a hat guy in 20, 25 years. I haven't owned a hat.
Okay, I thought you were a hat guy. Well, I apologize for. So you really are. You really are a no accessory guy.
I'm a no accessory guy. I'm very. I'm very simple. I don't, which makes, again, difficult to buy gifts for.
Yeah, you're the worst. I thought I was bad, but at least you can buy me a new wallet or something. Yeah.
I know you struggle every Christmas to think about what to send
do.
me.
I give you those gift cards. I give you that Olive Garden gift card. I know that always goes to great use. So,
well, I was going to say it's probably why you've never gotten me a Christmas
it's just too hard. I freak out and I don't know what to do. So I just say, forget it. I leave you alone is what I do. I don't bother you. I don't say Merry Christmas. I do nothing. I just leave you alone. Yeah.
So I tell her, I'm like, it's better. Like, I don't wear jewelry, so you never have to spend money on that kind of thing. And it's easier for you, It's I'm
an anti-gift guy too. I've become, people get mad at you and I'm like, don't buy me anything, please. They're like, well, what do you want for this? I'm like, I don't want anything, nothing. I don't want things. I have enough things. The last thing I need is things. We can go somewhere, we can do something, but do not get me a thing. I have things. I don't need any more things, And then people will like, no, I got to get you something. No, you really don't.
Yeah, no, you don't have to get me anything.
You really don't. We'll go for a meal. We'll go hang out. We'll do something, but I don't need anything. The things that you want to buy me, I don't need,
I don't want things. That's right.
You got Lamborghini, great. I'll take that. But other than that, I don't really need it. You want to pay off my house?
If
you want to pay my house off? Great. Go for it. But whatever thing you're going to give me, I don't need it.
If we moved, you could fit my possessions in a box, one cardboard box. I don't have anything. Like, I don't have things. I just don't have anything. I don't know. I don't want anything. Like, sometimes, like, people. Okay, so the other day I have like this cabinet, which is just a junk cabinet where you come home, you put everything in that. Like, everyone has a cabinet like that. It's like, and then every 6 months you have to clean it out, right? Because it's just a disaster. So TLB's cleaning out like the junk cabinet, and she finds all these Christmas cards and shit that I've been getting from like my mother for the last 6 years. And they all have gift cards in them. One had a $50 bill. And she's like, when are you going to use these gifts? I'm like, I don't know. I don't want anything. Like, it's nice that I have these gift cards, but I genuinely can't think of anything to purchase with the gift cards.
The Fire Stick
gift cards.
Yeah, Fire Stick.
Yeah, I'm going to
buy yourself three
Fire Stick remote.
3 of those, and then you'll be good for a while.
And one had a $50 bill. She's like, I could have just kept this. You didn't even know. I'm like, you could have.
You're right. Right. You could have.
I don't even know how many years that 50. So now the $50 bill is in my little leather gimmick that she gave me to hold my fucking license. Like, that's crammed in there now too.
You don't seem like a cash guy. You don't strike me as a guy who, a transaction comes up and they're like, that will be $14.27. And you're like, aha, one moment. Let me give you my crisp $50 bill. Here you go. Because then now you're going to get change. You're going to get more bills. Yeah, it's just a disaster.
Rich, once again, is this 1973? Why would I be carrying around cash? Why would you ever, unless you know that you specifically are going to need cash, why would you ever have cash? There's just no reason for it. I don't know. It's unless you're going to an event and you have to park and you have to hand some sketchy guy a fucking $20 bill to use the lot or something, or there's no reason to carry around cash unless you have a cash job. Like, if you're a fucking waiter or something, you're gonna have cash. Even there, even these days, they're not gonna have much cash. Well, I guess they would always have cash. Anyway, point is, no, I don't carry cash. I don't carry cash.
Yeah, you didn't strike me. Yeah, you didn't strike me as a cash guy.
I'm going to lose that leather gimmick, and I'm going to lose my cards
and your $50,
my license, and the $50 bill that's crammed in there now too. I'm going to lose all of it.
We don't want you to do that.
I'm going to go, see, if these items were loose, I'd have only lost one of them.
I hate it. I get it. I hate it. I get it. I do. I think there's a happy medium though of just carrying a couple things in your wallet and not necessarily all the things that you described. But I do get the lose your wallet. You're pretty fucked for a while thing, because that has happened to me, of course. And it's just like, well, shit.
Nothing will
the next
ruin
week
your life.
Is just calling people and getting things reordered and being scared every time you're driving because you're going to get pulled over and be like, look, I got nothing. What do you want me to do? I don't know. I lost my wallet. I don't have anything. Can't give you anything. I get it. I do. I get it.
Then they think you're a fugitive of the law.
Right. Like, I have no way to identify.
Right. Yeah. I swear this is my car, sir. Yeah. Right. Step out of the vehicle, and it's a whole thing, it's terrible. But, yeah, I'm going to lose that, and it's going to be everyone's fault but mine that I lose everything. when you could just lose the one item? I think it's logical. I'm sorry. I don't know. I feel like
I don't know. You're not getting a whole lot of love for the no wallet thing in the no dope chat room. A lot of people agreeing with you about some of these things, but few agreeing with you on the loose debit card in the pocket.
Listen, I know I might be on an island.
You're on an island for that one. That's all you.
That's fine.
that's you on that island. But
I'm not afraid to live on an island sometimes. I'd like to live on an island away from everyone. That would be nice. Like if that was a real thing. I will be on Lanza Island with the no wallet. I don't need a wallet. Gone this long without a wallet. You know how long it took me to get a smartphone? I didn't want a fucking but eventually you have to.
You do.
I was the last holdout for a cell phone, period, that among all the people in my life. But eventually you have to get it. Professional reasons, everything else. And then I was last holdout for the smartphone. I knew the smartphone was going to be trouble for me, so I held out as long as I could. But you can only walk around with a flip phone so long before it's a fucking embarrassment. You know what I mean? You can't. Eventually it's like humiliating. So eventually you got to upgrade.
I kind of wish I could go back to. I think I'm going to rebrand pretty soon as like guy who carries around old phone.
Do you feel like you're old enough now to get away with that to where you don't? So
right,
you
and I could be, and it would be like a badge of honor, and people would probably admire me. They're like, good for you, and I'm like, I don't do any of that shit. Just makes calls. You know what I mean? And I take it out and I tap it or whatever, and they're like, you're good for you, because like now everyone's so addicted that now it'd probably be like, hey, good for you, sir, for not feeling like you need to be on your phone 100% of the day and 24 hours a day or whatever. So I think it's kind of turned around where now you'd be admired. Whereas like 7 years ago, if I pulled out a Nokia phone, they'd be like, look at this loser. Like, what an absolute loser. Where I feel like now with where I'm at age wise and where we are society wise, I feel like I'd be admired for my Nokia phone.
Yeah. I mean, you're married, so you don't have to impress any broads. I guess you could pull it off. I mean, I'm just warning you, you're rapidly aging yourself if you opt for a flip phone at this point.
Okay.
You're going to be, you can't be cool with a flip phone.
I don't want to be cool. I'm post cool.
Well,
I'm
that's
not
what I'm
cool
saying.
anymore.
Okay,
I don't want to be cool anymore. I'm done.
That's what I'm saying. If you're
I've
okay
peaked.
with that, then you can go get the flip phone. But you have to understand that that's what comes with that. Right?
I think I'm ready for it. Yeah, I'm ready for it. Especially a week like this where it's like people are freaking out. Oh, what are we going to do without Twitter? We'll go to this thing and we'll go to that thing. It's like, I just want to just go away from all of it. Like, we need an alternative to Twitter. It's like, no, we don't. We don't. We could just move on with our lives.
Yeah,
it's okay.
We don't have to have that.
We don't.
Yeah, we don't have to have that.
We don't. We have people freaking, I'm going on Threads, or I'm getting on Blue Sky. We don't have to be on any of those. We could just go away. Yeah.
Here's what these people don't understand. If you hate Twitter and you're agitated with Twitter, you're going to something else that's going to present you the same problems.
It's like, okay, isn't it just going to be the same thing? Well, yeah, but without the bad people. Well, eventually the bad people are going to come. That's like,
no, it's all the people. It's all the people. That's why none of these alternatives work. It's still all the people. It's going to be the same. That's why it's funny. I'm watching everyone like do all, I'm just staying out of it. It's going to be half the things look exactly like Twitter and function exactly like Twitter.
We have 6 of them now. We have 6 fake Twitters now to replace Twitter.
Did you see someone put out a tweet with screenshots of all 6 of them? And
not just
can you
somebody, one
them?
of the guys that's making one of the fake Twitters.
Yeah.
Jack, the original Twitter guy is like, I can't believe now we just have 6 Twitter replacements. And it's like, one of them is yours. You made one of those.
No, but he took the 45 billion and ran. I mean,
of course. Yeah.
He's the big winner here. Because he just sold it to the geek and cashed out. And, it's not his fucking problem anymore. He don't have any fucking problems anymore. 45 billion.
You can do a lot. Yeah, you can do whatever the hell you want.
So, no, but it's crazy. Like, I hate this Twitter. I need a new Twitter. I hate Twitter. I need a new. It's the same shit. You're going to eventually have the same exact problem. Whatever problems you had with the previous one, you're going to have with the next one. It's, I would love something to replace the news feed aspect of it, but it's not going to be an exact clone. You're going to have to create something completely new that no one's thought of yet to replace it, or else it's not going to work.
I think the best part about that, the @Jack tweet is, or not even tweet, I don't know. I guess I don't even know where he did it. I'm not sure on what fake Twitter he did it on, but he was like, instead of evolving to the next level, we just have replacements and clones. It's like, yeah, but you had the opportunity to do something different. You just made a clone. So it's like, yeah, it's fine. But again, $45 billion richer, so good for him.
Yeah, I mean, if I cashed out for $45 billion, I would stand on a pedestal and make fun of everybody too. Why not? I mean, that's the ultimate fuck you money.
And make your fake Twitter that doesn't get sued. Because then another guy made a fake Twitter, but then that fake Twitter is going to get sued. And this guy whose fake Twitter is exactly like Twitter is not going to get sued because not that many people care about it. So,
well, there have been a lot of fake Twitters.
There's been a lot. There's several.
There's been a lot of fake Twitters. There has been a couple of extreme right-wing versions of fake Twitter. Then there was the one left-wing attempt at a fake Twitter. And the reason those kinds don't work is because what these people don't realize until they're in it is they need the other side to play off of, or they get bored.
They're addicted to the endorphin boost of the arguments and the takes and all that shit. Yeah.
Yeah, when everyone agrees, then what do you do?
Right.
Then you're all bored. So that's why those never work and never will work. And now I guess that you have all these other ones pop. Who's gonna win this? I know the Blue Sky deal. Okay, that's like just a complete and total Twitter knockoff.
Yeah, you want an invite code, Joe? I can send you an invite code.
I'm already squatting on my name on Blue Sky.
Good.
I'll never use it, but I'm squatting on my name on Blue Sky.
That was the leader in the clubhouse earlier this week, basically, where people were like, "Aha." We found it. It's Twitter without bad people, and it's like very normal, and like everyone's just kind of like, "Hi, how's it going?" Like, it's just classic like early social media stuff. But it's boring. Like you said, it's just a bunch of people being like, "Hey, this is cool. I'm glad this isn't like Twitter," and there's a bunch of people doing that, and then it's slowly gaining because you need the invite codes or whatever, and then now Threads has come. And that's from Instagram, and everyone's like, "Oh, cool! You can load all your Instagram information directly into Threads. This is fantastic!" And it's like it's good because all the influencers are on it and stuff. So it's gotten a lot of people signed up in one day. But people are starting to find out some pretty not great things about it because it's just another way to filter all of your data to Mark Zuckerberg, which is not exactly the best. You now cannot delete your Thread account, I guess, unless you delete your Instagram account. So it's like you're stuck now being on Threads forever. if you click the button where it said, "Hey, do you want to import all your Instagram information to Threads?" and you went, yes, that'll be so easy. Well, now you're stuck to have both of them. And the timeline is just a algorithm of, hey, this is what you would like to see. And what it thought I like to see was like updates about the Jenners and TikTok dances. And I didn't have the heart to tell them that that's not actually what I wanted to see. So it's
not who you're following.
No, it's algorithm based. Yeah, that's always going to go great. So yeah, I looked at it and went, yep, I'm never going to use this again. So there you go.
Well, that sounds terrible.
Yep.
I mean, if people really,
but all your favorite influencers are on it though, Joe. All of them.
All the stars.
All the stars are there. Yeah,
all
doing dances and
all
driving
boats.
All
the influencers. Say
all of them. They're all there.
Okay. So everyone's just going to end up back on Twitter because they already have followers. They can see the tweets of the people they're following, and they can make fun of Elon Musk all day, which is really, they complain about that. Yeah, they complain about Elon, but what these people don't realize is they need that. You need the enemies to play off.
You need a heel. You got to have a heel.
Yes. So, that's you need to dunk. That's an important component. Everyone talks a big game like they want to get away from that. Okay, but you need that unless you really truly do just get away from it and have had enough. That's a different deal. But bouncing from thing to thing, you need an enemy to play off of.
You do. So. Oh, there you go. We're on all those dumb things if you want to follow Voices of Wrestling on them. But
please
please don't, and don't expect anything unless I'm just gonna.
Someone was like, "Hey, is Joe gonna have the password to the Threads account?" And I'm like, no, No, I have no interest whatsoever.
Yeah,
if I'm not interested in Twitter, why would I be interested in any of these other
You're not
things?
interested in threading? Oh, come on. Who doesn't want to thread?
It's the same. Why would I be not interested in one but interested in the other? Like, this is what the point I'm making. It's all the same shit. I have no interest.
Threads.
But we're on there, so definitely follow us.
Yeah, definitely
on all
follow
of
us
these
and then
things.
click all the links, even though nobody clicks any of those links ever.
Just
so.
click the links over and over and
Yep.
over. Just
follow.
do it all day
I
long.
think on Threads you repost, I believe. So repost, not retweet, repost, Joe. So it's totally
right.
different. Repost and then click all the links and yeah, but you're not getting any takes. If you think we're going to be wrestling Threads influencers, that's no, it's not happening. So, but follow us for sure on all those dumb apps. And
Who's the jerk off on YouTube, Mr.
you got to be more specific. Which one, Mr. Beast? Are you talking about Mr. Beast?
Mr. Beast? Yeah. Is he on Threads?
I don't know. You know what? I bet Mr. Beast is on Threads. Let me find out if Mr. Beast is on Threads. I hope he's got like a. All his videos are so annoying. It's like that face, like the thumbnail face.
Yeah.
It's like
face.
a pile of hamburgers, and his face is like, oh! It's like, what the fuck? What is this? And then you look at it's got like 9.8 billion views. You're like, oh, all right.
I don't understand. I really genuinely will never understand the appeal to shit like that. Like,
Mr. Beast is indeed on Threads, and he currently has 2.1 million followers on.
That didn't take long
on Threads. Yes.
So the thing about him, I saw a clip of an interview with him, and aside from the fact that he's disgustingly rich, which, you know.
By the way, he's giving away a Tesla on Threads. If you'd like to retweet him to win a free Tesla, you can do so. So,
aside from the fact that he is generationally wealthy for making YouTube face, his life is pretty hellish because I heard him saying in this interview that he is just stressed every day because he's constantly has to stay ahead of the algorithms so that his shit stays on top. Like, he constantly has to be on top of that shit and knowing what beats the algorithm and what puts you on top of the searches. And it's constantly changing and shifting. And that stresses him out. Every morning he wakes up and he has to be dedicated to mastering the algorithm. And that does sound like a very shitty existence. But at this point, doesn't he have a big
just
enough
get off.
following?
Just fucking stop and go drive your Lamborghini and hang out in your pools. Like, you know,
Right.
like fuck off, bro. Like you're generationally wealthy. If it stresses you out, you could stop, and I'm sure you'd be okay.
But even if he still wanted to make content, isn't he so popular at this point that
I feel like he's on autopilot. And just like his cars, I think he's probably on autopilot now, where he could just do whatever, and it's not going to matter.
But I guess he's just addicted to gaming the algorithm.
Right? Exactly. Yeah,
Like
he's addicted to the hustle of it all.
I guess.
I would
Rich,
just sit in my fucking pool and be like, I'm gonna make a video, and if it doesn't get any views, I don't give a shit because I got a fucking giant pool and a Lamborghini, so it doesn't really matter.
Well, Rich, we don't know how to grind. I assure you, I will never do a show again if we
you're
make.
Not going to talk about. You're not going to watch. No. You're not going to watch WWE Money in the Bank 2020. When are we going to make $1 billion? 2025. WWE Money in the Bank 2025. You're not going to watch that show.
I'm thinking about this. Maybe I would do a show if we made $1 billion.
Because then you have fuck you money. You got fuck you. I mean, you can do whatever, man. You know what I mean?
Do a hell of a show. Do a great show.
Right? Like, you're just like, I don't care.
Let me tell you, if you thought I was canceled before, I don't know. I don't know if I'm addicted to putting out the takes.
Well, you've always said that you are gonna have the show go until all of your haters are dead or gone.
Oh yeah,
because you can't let them win. And even though you are now a billionaire, I feel like you got to hang on just so they know that not only are you a billionaire, but you're still ruining their lives by talking about professional wrestling.
Yeah, it's correct. It's probably
Think
true.
about that.
I'm going to do some version of this show until I'm dead because I'm stubborn like that, and I don't want them to win because there's people who definitely don't want me to have a voice.
Right, the haters and the losers will win then, and yeah, you can't let them win.
Yeah, they'll win when I'm dead, and then they could do the meme where they're putting up the peace sign next to my casket, that.
Or the one guy that went to the funeral and the guy in the suit with the funeral.
To make sure he was dead. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, like that's the only time they're gonna get me. Because I will do some version of this, just to the ones that outlive me, good for them. They'll see the day. The others will not. But yeah, I don't know. So I don't know what the hell you said when you were doing this.
I don't either.
I guess
so we're back. So I think you said when you make your first $1 billion, you're not going to do the show anymore. And then I said, well, you haven't made that $1 billion yet, so
No, I know that. I said you set up the show though already, right? You set up the show.
Sort of, but I don't think anybody heard it. So I'm just going to redo it. We're going to just push along. I'm going to redo it, set up the show.
They got eyes. They could see the run sheet. Right?
That's true. Well, well,
there is podcast listeners who aren't.
Yeah. We got to give it to those people. We got to set them up. It's always a good time for you to kind of get your drink of water, get all set up. I got to move the dog. Once we get into the heavy parts of the show, it's like, all right, the dog's got it, because one dog wants to be on my lap during the intro, and I'm like, all right, whatever. Then now he's bored, so he's left the room. We're doing all this stuff, but we're gonna do Money in the Bank 2023. O2 Arena in London. We're going to talk about that. The Bloodline Civil War main event. We'll be digging into that. Also in America, Jerry McDevitt transitioning towards retirement. The longtime legal rep for WWE is transitioning towards retirement. We'll talk a lot about that. Jerry McDevitt had some quotes with WrestleNomics as well, and with Brandon Thurston, talking a little bit about his quote-unquote transition towards retirement, what that sort of alleges, and a little bit more about the MLW WWE lawsuit, which, believe it or not, if you have not been following, is still going, and doesn't look like it's going to end anytime soon. So we're going to touch on that a little bit. And then, of course, the world of MLW never stops, and they have Never Say Never, a pay-per-view coming up this weekend, July 8th, available on Fight Plus. We'll give you a little bit of a rundown of what's going to happen on that show. RevPro, they are going to be in York Hall this weekend as well, July 9th, for a big-time show. Epic Encounter 2023, so we'll touch on that. We are going to get into the world of All Japan Pro Wrestling. Yuma Aoyagi is your new Triple Crown champion, defeating Yuji Nagata. We'll talk about how what that means and the match and everything that kind of led up to it. New Japan Strong had their Independence Day shows July 4th and July 5th, so we'll touch on those as well. But, Joe, believe it or not, people are not going to... I don't think they're going to believe it, because I don't remember the last time it's happened. We are starting the show with Dragongate. Dragongate's Kobe World Pro Wrestling Festival 2023. Written review is up right now at voicesofwrestling.com from Case Lowe if you want to read that. Open the Voice Gate, our Dragongate podcast, has also released an episode all about this, about the Kobe World Festival. But, Joe, we're going to touch on it here. Starting the show with Dragongate. I don't remember the last time we've done it, but welcome. We're here.
We have a lot of topics to get to, and there is no prayer that we're getting to all of these topics, especially since we burned 40 minutes on utter bullshit. So
accessories and
there was so much to get to this week. But yeah, I figured we'd start with the Kobe World, because what happens to Dragongate over the last couple of years, but
10
since forever with this show. Yes. Dragongate always gets pushed to the third hour, and you're always rushing through the segment, but they had a huge show. And you know what? They drew 5,150 fans to Kobe for this show. And look, if you want to chalk that up to Hiromu, and you want to chalk that up to Shingo, and you want to chalk that up to Ultimo Dragon, putting his mask on the line, you're probably right. But I don't think it matters, because that's an incredible number, even if it's a little inflated. When the lights were on in the building, it sure looked like it was close to 5,000 people in there. So if it is a fake number, I don't think it's all that exaggerated. So we'll start there. From a business perspective, you got to give them credit. This show drew tremendously. That's one of the best houses in Japan this year.
Yeah.
I mean, when you look at Japan, there's not that many houses that have been bigger than that one this year. So give them credit. There was obvious appeal in the card that they put together. Probably those three factors mattered the most, the things that I named, which we talked about last week. That was going to determine whether the show drew or not. And the show drew. As far as the show itself, it was okay. I think that what plagued the show, for me, is what has plagued all of modern one-word Dragongate. Dry atmosphere, very low energy. The matches just aren't that great. And the young stars that they're pushing, who are all excellent workers, they just don't have much charisma or crowd connection. And those are the things that have plagued Dragongate. These are the things that I've complained about every time we talk about one of their major shows. And at this point, I'm getting a little concerned. I think that I don't know how much more time I'm supposed to give people like Yuki Yoshioka or even Kakuta, who I like as a worker, and some of the others who weren't featured as prominently, to feel like stars, because they don't. They just don't, especially when compared to the previous generation that carried the company for the first 20 years or so. I didn't think the show was very good. I mean, it wasn't bad either. It just existed. It's just
it's not a show.
Dry, emotionless wrestling.
Yeah,
with the exception of the main event. With the exception of the main event, which we'll get to. I love the cage match. The cage match is a different thing, but the rest of the card, I mean, I don't know. It's just there's just no excitement. There's no spark. There's no energy. There's no. And again, I don't think that these guys that the Dreamgate match, for instance, I know I'm talking a lot. I'm going to let you get in here. The Dreamgate match, for instance, Kakuta and Yoshioka, I'm watching this match and the work is perfectly competent. And I just can't help but thinking these are two guys who are not ready to be stars. And it's not just them. It's the rest of this next generation too. None of them are ready. None of them have any crowd connection. None of them have any charisma. A star charisma, I'm talking. And it's just obvious on these big shows, especially. It's just so obvious. And I really didn't like this show until I watched the main event. I got through the Dreamgate match, and the main event was spoiled for me. So I dropped into our Discord to complain about the show. And I was expecting to see a lot of agreement. And when I saw just a slew of people saying how great the show was, I'm like, all right, if I'm that far off the reservation to the general consensus, then this company really isn't for me anymore. But then some more reviews came in as people were watching, and there were more people who were more in line with what I thought. But the cage match, which we'll get to, I want to leave that out of this because I really enjoyed the cage match. But what'd you think of the show?
I kind of had a similar thought that you had, where as I was watching this, and I liked, I thought the card on paper looked pretty good. I thought it was a good way to kind of integrate some of the older new Dragongate guys, and obviously the main event was going to have Ultimo in there, and obviously we're going to have Hiromu, and we all knew that Shingo was going to be a part of the Ishikawa thing or whatever. So it was all about sort of integrating that young talent, that next generation, with a little bit of the old talent, and just kind of putting their best foot forward, which I think they've, I'm not as down on the young talent as you are. But I will say, after this show, I was a little disappointed in how they delivered throughout the show. And we'll talk about all of them individually, and especially, after the grand declaration by Kakuta, after Dead or Alive, saying, like, this is the new generation. These are the guys that are going to lead us into the new generation. This was their first show to do that. And particularly the Dreamgate match, which I thought, like you said, was perfectly good professional wrestling. I think Kakuta is good. I think Yoshioka is good. But when you're in the semi-main event and you're the Dreamgate title match and you're, that was the one, and Jay even mentioned it in the previews that he did with Open the Voice Gate. Like, he said, those guys have to go out there and tear the fucking house down and show this is the new generation. We are here. We're not in the main event because this cage takes too long to set up and they didn't want to put it early on in the show, or whatever the excuses may be, or whatever. But we're mad that we're not the main event, and we're going to show you that we're the next generation. We're pissed that we're not in the main event. We're going to go here and tear the house down. And I thought they had a very good professional wrestling match. They did not tear the house down. They did not. The crowd wasn't going nuts for the match at all. The crowd was very respectful because the work was good. I mean, and that's sort of the level. That's sort of what I'm having with a lot of the Dragongate workers right now. Is a lot of them are very good workers. I don't think any of that new generation I would consider a bad worker, or I just don't get it. You know what I mean? It's not like that. But like you said, it just doesn't feel like they have that specialness about them. And I think there's one lone exception, and we'll talk about him in the cage match, because I thought he was a star of the cage match.
I think it's probably the same one. It's Shun.
Yeah, Shun. I mean, when you see Shun, and it's like, that's a dude. You know what I mean? That is a guy who has that it factor. He goes out there, he owns the room, he owns the match. That cage match was all about him. It's not just that he's making noise the entire time. He's everywhere. He's such good character work, and he's so good at you can't take your eyes off him. Yeah, he owns that room. When he's in that match, he is the focus. And you are looking at him, you're paying attention to him, you're watching him. That's just, I don't get that same vibe from a lot of the other guys, on the come up for them. And that is worrisome when you have guys. Kakuta's the Dreamgate champion now. That's as high as you can get. That's you got the main title. Yoshioka just got done having the main title and had a pretty long reign with it. Benkei, he's a guy who's had the title before and is kind of coming back up and doing that sort of stuff. And it doesn't. A lot of these guys, it's just, I don't know. There's just not that. There's just something that you're like, come on, let's go. It's now. This is your time. You have declared it. Kakuta has set it out and said, we are the next generation. Let's go. Let's really feel like this next generation is here. And when this show was over, I didn't get that vibe. I got the vibe of we're still rebuilding a little bit. And I thought we were ready to kind of kick things off and just go into the next gear. And it's not quite there yet.
How many of these title reigns are we going to have where we're like, this wasn't that great? These guys just don't have it. They don't have star level charisma. Kakuta absolutely does not have star level charisma. Now that we see him in the spot, just doesn't have it. And look, and I've had that stance on Yoshioka the whole time. I'm
right. I'm a little more. I'm a little higher on Yoshioka than you are, but I get it. I do get your stance for sure.
Yeah, I mean, and it's like the crowd was dead all night. The matches, I felt like so many of the matches had abrupt finishes, and I know that you have to set up the cage, but how come these things were never a problem for your big brother's Dragongate? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like these are excuses. I mean, they had plenty of cage matches where you had to set up the cage, and the cards never felt like this. Dragongate shows used to be the most vibrant and exciting shows out of all of the major companies. And that feeling has been gone for a long time. And, this show, again, there's over 5,000 people there. They draw this great crowd, and they never gave the people reasons to go crazy for anything on this show. There's just a lack of excitement on these Dragongate shows.
Yeah, it felt like a lot of the matches never hit that next gear. That they were always kind of worked at like this one pace, and you're like, all right, well, they're setting up for a pretty good. Oh no, okay, never mind. The finish just came. Okay, that was it. Like you said, like the Open to Twin Gate was 11 minutes, and I have no problem with like short matches, but the problem was they just never felt like they kicked into that next gear. Like you were kind of anticipating, all right, it's Kobe World. Like let's see that next level, and a lot of the matches just didn't. And I thought all in all it was a more good than bad show. It just didn't have it was definitely lacking that energy that I thought we were going to get from this show, where I saw that crowd and I was like, all right, here we go. That's 5,000 people, man. And there was a lot of times where they just weren't making that much noise or that excited about what they were seeing, and that is a little worrisome for sure. They were hot in the main event though. And again, like if it's not clear, we're excluding the main event from all this because the main event was absolutely, awesome. And we'll talk about it here in a sec. But yeah, a lot of the other matches, it just never felt like the crowd really fully bought in. It never felt like the matches really kicked into that next gear. So, did I feel like I wasted my time watching it? I wouldn't say that, but I also wouldn't I'm not going to come on here and gush and tell people, oh my God, you got to see this show. You got to catch up with Dragongate again. It's kind of the same thing we've been saying for a while. It's like, yeah, I mean, if you got time, there's a lot of good talent, and it's still a relatively fun show, but I can't do the drop everything and go watch this thing with Dragongate right now. It's just it's not there just yet.
Yeah, I think every single match on the show underwhelmed every one of them.
I think that's absolutely fair. Yeah, I think that's absolutely fair. Like Kakuta and Yoshioka definitely underwhelmed for me. I thought that was going to be a big moment for them to kind of go out there and deliver, and they, a good match, but definitely not great. Open the Dragongate I liked, but I thought it was going to be like next. I thought that was going to be like the match of the night. That thing's going to kick so much ass, and it was good, but it wasn't, It didn't reach that next level. Hiromu and Yamato, I liked, but why am I doing this now? We'll do that later. Let's talk about the cage match.
Let's just do that and then talk about the cage match. So yeah, I agree. Hiromu and Yamato, I felt like Hiromu did not feel like working hard.
No, exactly. My exact take was that he came in here. I don't know if he made it, if he felt like it was beneath him, but it kind of felt like he felt like this was beneath him.
And to be honest, I don't know if Yamato wants to go out there and have a Hiromu match either. So it just kind of existed. The Dragongate match, I agree, was kind of just there. It was probably the second best match on the show for me, but that's the match that maybe most disappointed me that it didn't get to that next level. Because as it's going on, I'm like, all right, here we go. This is getting kind of fun. This is getting kind of good. And then it was over. And I was like, oh, all right. I kind of thought we had like 6 more minutes here, but no, we're done now. So that's the one that I thought was on that pace to being really good. And then it just ended up not really getting there. There was a bunch of stuff like that. The Bravegate match, with Ishin and Jason Lee, that's like the most disappointing Jason Lee match I can recall.
Yeah, he's been great. He's been great for like a year plus at this point. Like great, like legitimately great.
There's a nothing match. That was a legitimate nothing match. And that Ishin, I don't think much of him at all. He's just a guy. I don't, I understand he's probably 24, 25 years old. But he's been there a few years now, and I just don't see anything. So that guy's going to have to win me over at some point. Definitely didn't on this show. There's a big match and a big title win, and very unimpressive to me, especially when you're in there with Jason Lee, who I know can go and is one of the more reliable wrestlers on the entire roster. And then you had the Twin Gate. I mean, it was fine. I don't, I can't even have thoughts about it.
No, the Twin Gate, I was really disappointed on the Twin Gate. And I thought Mochizuki and Kanda were like light years better than the Gold Class team. And that's, you know what I mean? Or Susumu, I should say. And Kanda, it wasn't it was Susumu, Mochizuki, and Kanda. Like, those guys are obviously, Susumu especially is just, he's still great. He's still so good. But it's like, this was another match where, again, I was like, all right, this is a big opportunity for Benkei. He's in here with some of the best guys that Dragongate has ever had, and great opportunity. And it was just like, yeah, he was just kind of along for the ride. It's like, I didn't want to leave this match saying, yeah, Susumu's great, and that's how I ended the match, basically, is being like, yeah, Susumu, still good. But I'm ready for something new. Like, let's go, man. Come on, let's show something.
Yeah, I don't worry about Benkei, though. I mean, I feel like he has reinvented himself. And he does have the charisma that I'm talking about. But he's in the middle of the card, and sometimes in Dragon Gate, when guys aren't being featured, they kind of just blend into the rest of the show. But he's not someone I'm concerned with, because especially with his reinvention. And the Shingo stuff with Ichikawa was a lot of fun. I'm not going to bet that was exactly what we thought it would be. And, like we said, he just beat him with the pumping bomber the first time. And, and then they did the second match or whatever, or the extension of, they did a whole long deal with Shingo. We knew it was going to be Shingo, and it was exactly what we thought it was going to be. And that was a lot of fun. But, Kano worked the show with Mochizuki, against Don Fuji and Suji Kondo. There wasn't anything worth noting in that. It was just a dry match up and down dry show up and down the card with nothing I would even remotely recommend to anybody listening to this.
Right, which is definitely what you don't want that out of a Kobe world. And especially one that felt like after Dead or Alive, like, okay, now we're ready. We're here, the new generation. And it just kind of felt, it felt like a show like they've had over the last couple of years where a lot of their shows have kind of a dry feeling to them, just kind of a lack of energy, which is, man, it's Dragongate. It's like, that's the exact opposite of what you expect for a big time Dragongate show, and yeah, it did. So similar thoughts to you. I mean, I'm okay that I watched it. I didn't feel like I totally wasted my time, but it's also just like, yeah, I can't recommend pretty much anything but the main event.
So the main event was great, and this was, to me, there was 3 acts. There's 3 acts in the main event. There was the saga of Dragon Kid and Ultimo Dragon. With Dragon Kid, he could have grabbed his mask and escaped very early, but he saved Ultimo Dragon. And he sacrificed himself so Ultimo could escape. And then he very quickly was the second person who escaped anyway, so it all worked out for him, right? But there was that one spot where he bowed to Ultimo Dragon and he's like, I'm out of here. You guys are all tied up. I'm sorry, but I got to save myself. But, he had that crisis and he crawled back down the cage. So that was Act 1.
Yeah.
The stuff with Dragon Kid and Ultimo Dragon. Once they were out, Act 2 was the heels beating down Strong Machine J. These, Skywalker and Diamante just beating the living shit out of Machine J. Because when Ultimo escaped, he wasn't going to climb over. The gimmick, it's like he's too old to climb over, so they opened the door for him, and that allowed the heels to throw all the weapons into the cage.
This was really smart, because at first I was like, oh my god, because I get it, like, you don't want Ultimo Dragon climbing down from the cage, and this was brilliant for them, because I bought it as, okay, that seems legit. that Ultimo's like, fuck off. First off, he's Ultimo Dragon. So like whatever he says, you're going to do it no matter what. But also too, I could buy that man doesn't want to crawl down from the top of a cage, so it made sense that they would open the door for Ultimo Dragon or whatever. And I'm like, all right, that makes sense. He's an old guy or whatever, and he's Ultimo, whatever. That's fine. I get it. But then when the heels are throwing shit in the ring, I'm like, oh my God, brilliant. They figured out, and they got me. Like, I never thought that, they're going to use that as a way for the heels to kind of, get shit in the ring or interfere. But the way they did that and the way they set that up was absolutely brilliant. So yeah, kudos to them for that.
Yeah, so then that sets up Act 2, which is all these tables and chairs and weapons and the heels just beating down Strong Machine J. And then at one point, Diamante had a chance to get out, and he went and helped his buddy. He could have gotten out, but he was loyal to Skywalker, and he pulled Strong Machine J off of him. And, and that led to Act 3, which was Skywalker and Diamante, the last two left, and Skywalker not having the same loyalties to Diamante that Diamante had to him, which is probably going to set up the next 6 months of the promotion.
Yeah, good. So, and they did it great too, because it's those two guys left, and they're buddies, and they do the thing that I always say you should do. Like anytime I watch an old Royal Rumble or something like that, or I review it behind our paywall, flagshippatreon.com, by the way, it'll be like two tag team partners, and it's like, oh, they gotta face each other, and I'm like, no, they do not. They can just sit in the ring, knock everybody off, and then at the end of it, it's those two. They can shake hands, and they can decide who's going to win at the end of it. But the Powers of Pain do not have to fight each other. They can just sit in the ring and throw everybody out. No, Earthquake and Typhoon do not need to face each other. They can just stand in the ring. A new guy comes out, they toss him out until they're the last two left, and they can do that. And that's kind of what sort of happened here with Shun and Diamante working together. Diamante, sacrificing himself to keep Shun alive, and then it's just them two left in the ring. And then Shun and Diamante, they kind of embrace. They do a little bit of, all right, well, let the best man win or whatever, and they kind of shake hands or whatever. And then Shun, an absolute asshole, just attacks Diamante and then ties his mask into the cage and then climbs up and then wins and forcing Diamante to unmask. So and does it in such it's not like the other thing with Shun too, he didn't hit a move and then walk up there while Diamante's passed out. Like, he tied his mask in the cage so that he couldn't get out, but he was still there. I mean, physically he was fine, but he had to sit there and watch his asshole climb up to the top of the cage, get his mask, and say, "Fuck you! Now you have to unmask."
And then the guy, and then he shit talked him afterwards too. So he, it was very important that they established earlier in the match that Diamante he could have gotten out, but he saved Shun, and it's like. And then Shun just betrays him in the end and then talks all that shit to him. And that's going to set up, Diamante as a babyface and probably, the next 6 months of whatever they're going to do with these two guys. So the thing about this match was it was so well booked and really so simple in its layout with the three distinct acts that it's the kind of match that anybody can parachute into. You without ever having watched Dragongate in your life, you can watch this match and understand everything that's happening. And, that's a testament to simple booking that also works for the hardcores, because they told a million different stories within the context of the match as well. But anyone could drop in and enjoy this match, even without the English commentary. With the English commentary, it's even better because Jay does such a great job laying everything out and explaining everything. But really a great match from that standpoint. So, and the other thing I really appreciated about it is they worked it like a cage match. They didn't go in there and do a bunch of wild, wacky spots, it was pretty brutal.
I just punched and kicked the hell out of each other. Yeah, a lot of punching, a lot of kicking, a lot of, especially people teaming up. Like, several points of this match were just like three people turning around and beating up one person or whatever, or, two guys beating up one guy. But it was mostly punch, kick, punch, kick, punch, kick, punch, kick, which is fine. I have no problem with that in a cage match.
And
I don't need
weapons.
Yeah, right.
And using the cage as a cage and, logically working the cage, guys pulling each other down and the spots where people saved other guys. It was worked like a cage match, and it wasn't worked like a match that happened to have a cage, which you do see sometimes, and it's like, if that's the case, why have a cage match? But yeah, I liked everything about it. It wasn't the most dynamic match, but it told multiple great stories. And as Dragongate cage matches often do, it's set up what's going to happen in the promotion for the next whoever knows how long, 6 months, a year, 2 years, whatever the case may be. And Diamante gets unmasked, and away you go. It's it's always emotional when someone gets unmasked, particularly a Mexican wrestler, especially, and. He's in for a big change now without his mask and now his baby face and all this. So, no, I really enjoyed the cage match a ton. I don't have many good things to say about the rest of the card at all.
Yeah, I Cage is great. Definitely go out of your way. If you have to watch a match from the show, that's absolutely the one. I mean, I would just fully recommend that match. Not even just like, hey, if you're gonna bounce around between the show or whatever, just watch this Cage match. If you have the Dragongate Network, if you have any way to watch it, definitely go out of your way to watch that one. It's well worth your time. It's well worth. It's emotional. They just did a fantastic job. So, like you said, so many good stories, long stories that have been told for years upon years upon years. Shun Skywalker, you'll see why he's the guy that we pointed out at the beginning of this segment of just like head and shoulders above a lot of the other young guys in that company. And yeah, it's always kind of fun that now you have a new chapter in this guy. Diamante, we don't know. This is the beginning, of this new chapter. Who knows where it's going to go? Who knows if it's going to be successful? But at least you were there. You saw that moment where that new chapter began for Diamante, where whatever it may be, whatever comes forward after this, like that's a big important moment, a big emotional, and it's just. He's got tears. Ultimate Dragon's got tears. That stuff always hits your heart pretty hard. Like you said,
he's a made guy. Well, Diamante's a made guy now because even Ultimo's promo where he talked about how here's a guy, Chris Collinsworth. Now here's a guy who comes over from Mexico to Japan, and he's in Japan during the duration of the pandemic. Strange culture to him, doesn't speak the language. Plus, he's getting used to working in this new place. And then over the course of the last few years, he really became the backbone glue guy of the promotion, arguably the best worker in the promotion during that period. And I think that there's some loyalty to him now because he was loyal to them, and he worked hard and he integrated himself, and he really has become one of the easy standouts of the entire promotion. So I think that I think you're going to see him get an enormous push coming out of this, moving forward. Obviously he's going to be this feud with Shun, and then wherever we go from there. I really think with this guy, the sky's the limit, and I think he can be one of the top foreigners to ever come through this promotion, which is saying a lot because you're talking about Dragongate, you're talking about Pac, you're talking about Pac first and foremost, you're talking about Ricochet. You go right down the line. This has always been a promotion through all of their incarnations who have embraced bringing in the foreigners, and I think he has a chance to be one of the keynote foreigners in the history of the promotion because of the nature of his rise and the obvious admiration that they have for him there. So, this could also end up being a key moment, not just for him, but for the promotion moving forward. I could see him being the Dreamgate champion someday.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, he's got a good look. I think the look is good. He's got height. He's got height relative to most other wrestlers, probably not. But he's got size in Dragongate for sure. It's good size and it's great size in Dragongate. He's good size for like a wrestler.
He's a good sized wrestler. Yeah, he's a big guy.
Great size though in Dragongate, especially if you want him to be like a big time main eventer and have that power, to sort of. But he's such a good worker, and I know you've written about that a lot on our Patreon of just like last year I think you wrote it a bunch that this guy is like kind of creeping up to the point where he maybe caught a lot of people by surprise that like this dude's one of the best workers in the world and far and away like I would put it between him and Jason Lee in terms of the best guys in Dragongate, but he's been quietly Diamante quietly one of the best workers in Japan for a couple of years, just like consistently great work, getting better and better and better, and yeah, it all feels like it's coming together here. And yeah, this is one of those things that's a loss, but it's really it's to get him to that next level. And yeah, I'm with you. I fully expect him to make it to that main event, make it to the Dreamgate, make it to the top of the company. Now, does it all work? Does it all deliver? We'll see, but I have no reason to bet against him right now. I don't know why you would bet against him really, because he's been great. So I don't think the unmasking is going to be anything. I think it's going to be a benefit to him more so than for some people it's a negative, but
I don't know. People think it's a negative for him. I don't know. I don't
think anybody thinks it's a negative for him. I think sometimes Guys
Sometimes
get
it can be,
unmasked.
yeah. Oh, that's what you're saying.
Yeah. I mean, in a globalized sense, like sometimes the guy gets unmasked and it's like, a lot of the aura is kind of gone or whatever.
Yeah.
Not with this guy. I mean, no, I think he'll be just fine.
I don't get that sense. I mean, I like to see him work a tour, we'll see, but I don't get that sense. I think there's some parallels between him and El Hijo, Dr. Wagner Jr., and Noah, where I see a similar thing happening with him there, where sort of underneath the surface, he's becoming one of the better workers in the company. And that's kind of what happened with Diamante and Dragongate.
It kind of caught you by surprise, little by little. You're like, wait a minute, hold on a sec. This guy's one of the best workers here. What the hell?
Yeah, and then you turn around, El Hijo, Dr. Wagner Jr., like he's in the best match on like all these shows, these Noah shows, and then you're like, wait, this guy, is he one of the better? And that's kind of the Diamante effect that he has had with Dragongate over the last few years. And I do think there's some parallels there between those two guys. Yeah, obviously with luchadors coming over and establishing themselves as regulars in a Japanese promotion and then really thriving as workers. And then you see where it goes from there. This guy's going to be a top star here. And then we see what happens with the other guy in Noah. But Noah's so fucked up from a booking standpoint that who knows? I mean, it might not even matter. But anyway, I just think it's interesting because I do think there's a lot of parallels between those two guys. But the cage match was, after I really found the rest of the show to be a slog. I had a lot of trouble getting through it. It was just dry and emotionless and boring to me. But, I got to that cage match. I took a break after the Dreamgate match. I watched the cage match. In fact, I think I watched it the next morning and with a fresh set of eyes because I wanted to be fair to it. And I'm glad I did. I think I would have liked it just the same, though. But if I hadn't taken the break. But, the cage match was just classic pro wrestling. And classic pro wrestling storytelling. So that I can't recommend enough. But I don't know. That's
Dragongate.
It did good business, had a good main event. I just I don't know about the rest.
And like I said, more coverage if you want to learn more about Dragongate or more about Kobe World. Review up at voiceofwrestling.com from Case. Always worth a read. Case Lowe. Nobody writes about Dragongate more or better than Case Lowe. And Open the Voice Gate. As well on the Voice Wrestling Podcast Network. They did an extensive review of this show, including an extended segment about Shun Skywalker as well and how he's just ascended to this next level of greatness over the last year too. So that is available, Voice Wrestling Podcast Network.
He's such a shitbag heel.
Oh, it's the best. Like it's so good.
He's one of the best heels around because he's so hateable and he finds new ways to be hateable and he's not interested in being cheered or liked at all. And sometimes it's hard for a heel wrestler because they still want that admiration or they want to be the cool heel.
Or I was going to say, he has no problem being the fucking asshole dickbag heel. And people don't realize that used to be a thing because so much of modern wrestling history is cool heels. You know what I mean? Like a lot
Ever
of
since the NWO, really.
Right. NWO did it. Edge was one of the best at being a cool heel where it was just like, I don't know. He's outsmarting everybody and he's better than everybody. And it's all this sort of stuff. It's like, that's not really what the heel's supposed to be. Whereas Shun Skywalker is just such a fucking prick that it's perfect. Like I said, he didn't beat Diamante with his move. He tied him up in the fucking cage and then walked up and said, You know what I mean? Like instead of, he could have easily out-wrestled Diamante and beat him with a move and left him laying in a pool of his blood as he climbs up the cage. But no, he tied his ass in the cage and walked up and waved at him while he was doing it. And
then talk shit afterwards.
And then I fucking beat you. You're such fucking lame. How did you believe that I was going to be your friend? How would you believe that I had loyalty to you? You're so fucking dumb. Oh my God. And there's
this to yourself. All that.
Right, right.
It's preposterous, but that's what a heel does.
That's what a good heel does. So yeah, he's fucking tremendous. So good stuff there out of that cage. Definitely watch that cage match if you get a chance to do so. We're going to stick in the world of Japan. Let's talk about All Japan Pro Wrestling, Joe. Yuma Aoyagi is your new Triple Crown champion. He defeats Yuji Nagata in 21 minutes and 18 seconds. This was a hell of a match, man. I loved this match. Let's first, before we review the match itself, let's talk about this. Yuma Aoyagi wins the Triple Crown. What did you feel when you were? What did you think when you saw that he was the guy that they chose to end this very good? I love this Yuji Nagata reign. I can't wait to do a deep dive, like I said, about this in like 5 years, where we do a deep dive on Yuji Nagata's Triple Crown reign. But I thought the reign was great. What did you think of Yuma Aoyagi being the guy to end it and win the Triple Crown here?
Yeah, I mean, we barely talked about this last week. We just talked in broad strokes about, who knows what the original plan was. Would Ashino have won if he didn't get hurt? I don't know. Was Aoyagi always the plan? I don't know. Would Yuma Anzai ever got, I think it's safe to say Yuma Anzai would have never gotten that title shot in June if Ashino hadn't gotten hurt. We do know that. T-Hawk probably doesn't get the title shot, right? Because, again, that was kind of a fill-in for Ashino. Both of those were. Or maybe they would have got... I don't... it's hard to say what the plan would have been.
They had major injuries now to two of their young stars they were setting up for big moments.
And it's... so they go with Aoyagi here, and whether it's the plan or not, I feel like the timing is pretty good because Aoyagi has been peaking over the last 6 months or so. I didn't love the match. I thought it was a good match. I didn't think it was a great match. I'd go like 3 3/4 or something. I thought the Yuma Anzai match from a couple weeks earlier was a little bit better.
Oh, I would agree with that. No, I would agree with that.
Maybe I was more wrapped up in Anzai being this literal rookie. We call people rookies sometimes when they're not, but this literal rookie getting a Triple Crown shot so early in his career when we know he's going to be pushed to the moon. And maybe I got wrapped up in kind of the historical context of that and the story of the match of him fighting from underneath. And maybe that's why that match did a little bit more for me than this one did, but it was a good match. I don't think it was a classic or anything. It's not going to pop up on match of the year list or anything like that. And, Aoyagi is now the second youngest Triple Crown champion, I think.
Believe. Yeah, he is 27. And I think Kento, when he first won it, I want to say was 26. Don't quote me on those numbers exactly, but I'm pretty sure that's what the breakdown is. So he's definitely the second youngest. I don't recall the exact ages that everybody was, but yeah, he's definitely second youngest ever.
Yeah, and I guess that ends Nagata's little run here, which I thought was very good. Even, before he won the Triple Crown, I thought his little All Japan run here was good and beneficial, and it helped freshen things up. They have felt fresh. We've been talking about it all year. We're now in July. Okay. They have felt fresh from January onward. I mean, Minoru Suzuki popping in now and then, I think has helped with that. Nagata popping in. I will even say that, what's his name? Even Onita with the all Asia tag titles.
Right. It gives you a different feel. You know what I mean? Sometimes those All Japan, undercards can just kind of feel like a parade of dudes that are just like, all right, I don't, great. Who the hell's this guy? But yeah, it has made it feel a little bit different. And Kojima was on this show as well. So they've done a good job. Hanma was on this show as well. So they've done a good job of kind of integrating dudes from all across the country.
Yeah. Have I loved the exploding deathmatch gimmicks underneath? No, but there's like a silly charm to them because they're not counted on to be important parts of the show or anything, and it just gives All Japan a different feel, which they desperately have needed over the last couple of years. And and guys like Yuma Anzai rising up, and all the silliness going on with Voodoo Murders, which at least feels a little different. I don't love everything they're doing in the company, but it definitely feels like a fresh, vibrant company this year. And now we have a fresh, vibrant Triple Crown champion. And I do think this is good timing for him. So now we see what happens. And they've kind of, he's a double champion too. I mean, don't forget that.
He's a tag champ. Yeah, he's a tag champ right now.
So it's a big push for him because he holds the tag titles with Kento Miyahara. And obviously, it doesn't take a fucking brain surgeon to figure out where they're going with this. They're obviously going to feud over that Triple Crown at some point, coming off of the tag team and all of that. I think that's what I would do. I mean, it seems obvious to me that that's where this is going to go now, but there haven't been many double champions in this company that were world tag team champions and Triple Crown champion at the same time. And it's very obvious his foil is right there. It's the guy that defends those tag titles with him. And, I can't think of a bigger feud that this company can do right now than Yuma Aoyagi and Kento Miyahara battling over that Triple Crown. So, they did a little over 1,000 in Korakuen Hall. Nobody's really drawing in Korakuen Hall right now except for New Japan. I think that's a decent number by the standards of post-pandemic.
Oh, for sure.
Over 1,000 for this.
Yeah, I would agree.
Because New Japan's doing like 1,400 right now in the building. Let me see what they just did for these shows.
Yeah, that's kind of where people are. I know there was that Fortune Dream show last month, I want to say, was that Fortune Dream show. I want to go actually check that out because it looked like a pretty fun show. But I think that one, and those shows are like special attraction shows that usually are pretty, booked with a lot of, top tier talent. And I think that, I'm looking at it now, $13.55 for that. Fortune Dream, which again is not a show that runs there regularly, and they do kind of stack it with as many people as they can. And that one's still only getting, $1,355. It's just, Corkin's been tough for a lot of people.
Well, 1,400's a sellout right now. New
Right.
Japan's doing 1,400 when they sell out. So, I look in the grand scheme and historically, putting barely 1,000 people in Corkin for a Triple Crown match, you're not going to peacock over that, right? But coming out of the pandemic and looking at what other companies are doing in that building right now, usually under 1,000, I can't kill them for that number. It's not bad.
Right.
So
I know Michinoku Pro did like a 30th anniversary show or whatever in there, and they got 880 people in there. It's just it's tough. It's tough right now.
It is tough right now, and so we'll see. But yeah, I mean, look, I didn't think. I think it would help if he would have won it in like more of a classic world title match that people that had some match of the year buzz or something. But beggars can't be choosers. It was a good match. Nagata did his job, put the guy over. Stood at the entryway when Aoyagi was cutting his promo and really let it sink in and put him over and did what he was supposed to do. The rest of the card, I watched Lindemann win the junior title from Atsuki Aoyagi. That didn't do a ton for me either. That was a very disappointing match because I have higher standards for Lindemann because I think he's phenomenal. And I did watch the Kento Miyahara and T-Hawk match against Tomoaki Hanma and Ren Ayabe. Ayabe is the kid from Taka's promotion. He's the tall kid. I don't know if you've seen him. He's really tall. He's like 6'6", 6'7".
Yeah, he's big-ish too, right? I think his weight-wise, he's just tap out guy. Yeah, he's big. He's what? I think he's legit 6'6", 6'7", right?
He's a big, tall
somewhere
guy.
in that range. He's tall, especially in Japan. He's like, wow, dude, he's big dude.
He doesn't have the best natural feel for it, but as I pull up his information, it looks like he was a basketball player. You know how I feel about basketball players transitioning to wrestling.
It doesn't usually go well. Doesn't usually go well.
For whatever reason, that muscle memory or that it just never converts well. And it's obvious in him because he's not the most natural. He doesn't look like the most natural athlete in there. And Hanma's completely shot. Hanma is, but we all know that. That's not breaking news to anybody. Tomoaki Hanma is just completely shot. It was all over for him when he broke his neck. He came back from the broken neck and he's never been the same.
Right.
He's a shell of himself. And he's probably needs to wrestle to live. I mean, he probably didn't make a shit ton of money in his career and, here we are. But, that was, but they didn't try to work a match of the year or anything. It was just an entertaining tag. And I didn't watch the rest of the show. There was just so much to watch this week. So I just watched the top three. But I'm looking forward to Aoyagi. I think this is something a lot of people wanted to see. We knew it was going to happen eventually, but it happened now. And I'm hoping a lot of people in Japan are excited about this and that this can help continuing All Japan to inch forward. Because I do feel like they don't have a tidal wave of momentum, but they're inching their way.
Right. Their arrow's pointing up. Their arrow's definitely pointing up.
Yeah, for sure. So, we see where we go with this now.
Yep.
So I'm looking forward to it. And I think down the line sometime this year, I think Miyahara and Aoyagi may have that match of the year level buzz Triple Crown match in them that they've kind of been teasing along the way here. That might happen. That's probably going to happen at some point later this year. So I'm looking forward to that.
For sure. And this match, for those that maybe wanted to check it out, it is not that level. Like, I liked it a lot, but it's not like, it's not going to be on any list. It's probably a solid 4.25 type match or whatever, which is good. Like that to me, I think that's what I ended up rating it. I thought it told a really good story, and you sort of talked about Nagata and the fact that he did things the right way. And Nagata's a professional through and through. And he did things the right way here. The match itself was Nagata sort of not necessarily taking it lightly, but more, I'm the veteran, I'm the champion. All right, yeah, you're here to do this little cork and haul, defense. Let's do this. But pretty early on, it felt like he was against the ropes and that Yuma maybe caught him off guard a little bit. And he was pretty much the aggressor, Yuma Aoyagi, for a lot of the match as well. And there was obviously a few spots where Nagata was able to get his shit in, and then a few spots where, he does the backdrop driver, and it's like, oh shit, all right, here. And the crowd basically was like, all right, yeah, it's over. And then Aoyagi kicked out. And then from that point forward, the crowd goes nuts. And then pretty much, the last couple of minutes, the crowd's starting to realize, holy shit, this kid's going to maybe do this. This kid's going to maybe do this. And Nagata worked his ass off to make all of Aoyagi's stuff look good, to sell well. It's not as good as the Yuma Anzai match that we were talking about from a couple of weeks ago, but it was still pretty damn good. And I was watching it. I was so upset. Aoyagi throws the super kick and it misses by like 5 feet. It's not even close. And it sucks because that was one of the big spots, was that Nagata was going to stand up and then Aoyagi was just going to super kick him and then go in to get, all of his, he does the backdrop driver and then he does his, I forget what his finisher's called or whatever. But he misses the kick, but Nagata still sells it like death. Nagata still sells it like, oh my God. And more than anything, like you said, the end of the match was, instead of Nagata rolling out of the ring and getting out of there as quick as he possibly can, like, some veterans may do, he lets it soak in. He lets the crowd chant Yuma. He gives them a little bit of the thumbs up or whatever, like, you've done well, kid, or whatever. It just gave him everything you could possibly give him. You know what I mean? And really let it sink in that this guy, my reign is done, and this guy has defeated me, and he was better than me on this night or whatever. So I'll give all the credit in the world to Yuji Nagata, not only for being 55 years old or whatever. I think he's around 55. Being 55 and being as good as he was in this run. He was really, really good in this run. And I've liked a lot of what I've seen from him. And this is a guy who I think you and I even a couple years ago were like, I think we're done here with Nagata. Like, there was always this, he could do it like once or twice a year. Remember in New Japan, he would have one of those matches a year and we'd be like, God damn, he still has that in him. But then there was one year where he didn't have that match. And I think maybe I wrote it in the New Japan ebook that we were doing at the time too, where it's like, all right, we finally reached the point where he just doesn't have that match in him anymore. And then he comes here and he has, 4 or 5 really, really awesome Triple Crown. And he had good matches even before he won the Triple Crown. But when he, as the champion, like a lot of really, really good matches here. So I give him all the credit in the world too for busting his ass when he doesn't really need to. This isn't his home promotion. He's just in here to kind of, help guys and sell some tickets and all these sort of things. He doesn't really need to do this. But he went out there and he delivered big in just about every single match that he had in his Triple Crown run. So all the credit in the world to him too, because you don't have to do this. He's a made man. He doesn't have to do half of what he was doing in these matches, but he was busting his ass to try to get that next level over, getting Anzai over, getting Yuma Aoyagi over. So all the credit in the world to Yuji Nagata, and yeah, just a really, really good run that I definitely recommend. If you're trying to do an All Japan catch up, definitely watch as many of those matches as you can, because I just thought he delivered well.
Well, I remember him dragging Tsuji Ishikawa to the best match that he's had.
How good was that match? Right. Yeah, I forgot about that one. I wasn't even counting that one. You're right. That match rocked.
So Gerard DeTrolio, no relation to Finn, in the chat, he says that, with Anzai beating Ashino in the Champion Carnival, it's possible Anzai was going to get the title shot anyway. Yeah. I mean, but it's like against Ashino, though, maybe? Like maybe Ashino would have beaten Nagata, and Anzai, because he beat Ashino in the Carnival, would have faced Ashino instead of Nagata. But with that said, it makes more sense for Anzai to face Nagata because Nagata is his mentor. You know what I mean? So It's like you can make arguments for a lot of different things. Like this. Well,
credit to them, man, because they did set up like there was like 4 or 5 different ways this could have gone, which is good.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, for all we know, maybe Nagata just would have beaten Ashino as just, okay, here's the Champion Carnival winner getting his shot, and it's just a one and done, and we're moving on. And maybe this has all played out the way it would have anyway, and the only difference was T-Hawk ended up in that first slot. Maybe Nagata Anzai was always going to be a match that was going to happen. Maybe, Nagata was always going to lose to Aoyagi. But, so maybe we are overthinking it, but it just seemed like the injury set off just a chain reaction of changes there. But look, it's all behind us now, and now it's Aoyagi's title. And quite honestly, I think that's the best path anyway. So
And they've done a good job of featuring him too this year. I mean, in the All Together, he was in that big time match with, I forget who was all in that one, but he was kind of the All Japan rep for the one. It was with Okada, and let me get the whole match set up because it feels like All Together was so long ago at this point. The All Together again, it was Okada, Kano, and Aoyagi versus Tanahashi, Kiyomiya, and Kento. So that was a big spot for him there. He was in there with the tippy top guys, and they, they also did that later. He's been featured pretty well in a lot of these big time. So it's not like this guy came out of nowhere. But like you said, they've been slowly but surely building him up where it doesn't feel like he's the crap, we have nobody else left, so give it to this guy. Like, he doesn't feel like that guy. He doesn't feel like
that at all.
Like we have so many injuries and we don't want to give it to Kento, so yeah, Yuji, you gotta go.
Let's just try this guy.
Yeah, Yuma, you're up. And that used to happen a lot. I mean, for the last couple of years in All Japan, it did feel like it was like, this guy, I don't know, whatever. Just give it back to Kento. Screw it. Who cares? Like, this does feel like they have had him sort of ready. Maybe he wasn't the choice. Maybe they didn't go into the year saying this is what we want to do. In July, we're gonna have this guy win the title, but they've been doing enough building him up that it does make sense. And again, that's a credit to All Japan. They have a lot of different ways that they can go with a lot of their young talent, which kudos, again, credit to them because they had to work pretty hard to get there because it was not that way for a while. There was a while where it was like a wasteland, like an absolute barren wasteland of that next generation. And now it does feel like there are a few guys. Like, they got Ashino on the right path until the injury. They got Anzai on a very, very good path. He's kind of a made dude anyway, but it felt like we were on the cusp of, okay, this guy's there. And now he's got this injury that apparently is going to take him out for like 2 weeks, even though it's a pretty major injury, but we'll see what ends up happening there. And then now you have Yuma Aoyagi. So they've done that. And there's a bunch of other, I will give them a lot of credit, man. They are, like you said, arrow pointed up, but they feel like they have a really good plan in place moving forward over the next year or two with the young guys coming up, and that's good. And there's always Kento there too, so you always have that guy who can go out there and have a great match with any single one of these guys.
Well, they were trying to get Naoya Nomura back in the mix, and he got hurt, right?
Right. Oh,
He
yeah,
get hurt too.
Yeah.
So it's like, and they were just kind of getting him back in the mix and getting him back into the company, and but the Aoyagi thing, like, if you remember when they put the Triple Crown on Jake Lee, that felt more like, all right, we have to shit or get off the pot and at least try this guy. We have to at least try it. That is not what this feels like.
No.
This feels like the natural time to go with someone new, as opposed to, we can't wait around for this guy to get it forever, so let's just give him the title and see what happens. And this title win has a completely different feel than that, and the way Nomura works, I'm not sure people realize he works smaller than his size. He's a big guy. He is a legitimately large athlete. He's over 6 foot tall. He's got some beef to him, but it's like, you don't think of him as a bigger guy. He's 6'1". He's listed at 6'1", 231. And I don't know necessarily if people view him that way. Jake Lee always had the height, which was always part of the, sort of allure with him. And, Nomura was just kind of coming up underneath as this guy who ultimately, to me, is probably has more upside, and Jake Lee's always going to get chances because of his shoot background and his height. And, there's just things in Japan that they're always going to covet. But it's, I don't know if Aoyagi, I don't know what's going to happen here, but I do think with the level that, his work has been so good, and he's someone that I think that those fans and that promotion, they see this as an ascension as opposed to he's not someone that they feel like they're throwing against the wall to see if he sticks.
Right.
And I do think that might help to make a difference.
For sure. And as Gerard pointed out, he's pointed out in our chat room, as well as he was the guest on the match of the week this week at flagshippatreon.com, where the match of the week was Yuma Aoyagi versus Kento Miyahara, December 14th, 2014, which was Yuma Aoyagi's debut. So you can see the first match of him, and then you can go watch this match here. But he kind of pitched it for you. You normally you do the write-ups for match of the week on our Patreon, but this time it was Gerard, who also co-hosts the Emerald Flow show here on the Voice of Wrestling podcast. Now
let me tell you what happened there. He suggested the match because the match made sense. Aoyagi's debut, which happened to be against Kento Miyahara, and I was like, oh yeah, that's a super interesting match. But then I pitched to him. I said, why don't you just do the write-up?
Right. You're the best guy for this job, so it's yours now. Yeah.
So if you want to do it, I didn't tell me that. I was like, if you want to do the write-up, you're more than welcome to step in as a guest, because I'll do that now and then. I'll have someone jump in and do the write-up. So, and he did a real good job with that, and people really seem to enjoy it. So anyway.
Yeah, a lot of history, a lot of details on how Aoyagi got to this point. Highly recommend checking that out. A little bit, a lot about his background, a lot about All Japan history and stuff. But one of the things he points out, right at the top, is Aoyagi is the first post Wrestle One Exodus All Japan Dojo trainee to win the Triple Crown. Now that is an interesting one. Now, so Jake Lee, he originally debuted in 2011. That was 2 years prior to the Wrestle One Exodus. So, and then he obviously left and came back or whatever. But this is like a bunch of those guys left to go do the Wrestle One thing. All Japan was basically...
They all left with Muto, if people don't know.
If you don't know what happened, Muto was in All Japan after his whole, the path of Muto goes in many different ways, but then, he was in All Japan for a very long time and sort of building that company up. Then he leaves and takes a lot of guys with him to Wrestle One, and All Japan's kind of a wasteland, after that, left with pretty much, just the scrap heap of guys left, and had to sort of rebuild over the years. And this is a long time we're talking about, man. This is 2013 that exodus happened. And it took a long time, man, for All Japan to feel like they were there. And yeah, this is now a guy who was a dojo trainee that won the Triple Crown. And he is the first one post Wrestle One Exodus. So again, that's like to speak to your point about the fans feeling like this is a guy who belongs here. This is a guy who we've seen come up from literally day one in 2014 to where he is right now spot. And earn this. Yeah. And he lost along the way a lot. I mean, last year he won the Champion Carnival, got a match Kento Miyahara, and Kento just beat him. And I remember us being like, well, I don't know, maybe that's just kind of what they did it well.
Is this some light bulb booking? Is it possible they had this long-term plan?
Yeah,
and that was kind of a setup for the, and now the roles will be reversed. And if it's not, you could certainly make it work with headcanon. Where this is all. So, yeah, I think that's why it's exciting to think about them as tag champions. And then eventually, Kento, because Kento's been out of the mix for a while, for the Triple Crown. And to get him back in the mix, well, I guess Nagata beat Kento, right? Nagata beat Kento.
Yeah. He beat Kento.
So he hasn't been out as long as you think. But, he had it earlier this year. But he stepped out of the way for Jake Lee, and then Jake Lee, got hurt, and then they had to go back to Kento, but that wasn't really what their intent. I think I have the timeline right. And then, so they've been trying to kind of get Kento out of the way here for some other guys, and he's been doing some other things since he lost to Nagata, but now later this year, I think that's what you go back to. I think that's your strongest match. I think that's your best drawing match that you have right now. And you use some of these guys from New Japan to help give you a boost, a little Onita in the mix. And, now we see the back half of the year, if they can carry the momentum and maybe have their own guys draw some houses now. That's what you look for in the back end of the year for All Japan. And I think that's the obvious money match.
For sure. So that was All Japan. If you want to check that out, that is obviously on All Japan TV. They do a good job of their streaming. Their stuff looks good. It's pretty easy to find and whatnot. So definitely recommend their streaming service. But last bit in Japan here before we move over to America. I did not watch these shows, so unfortunately, Joe, you're going to have to do the heavy lifting here. New Japan Strong had the 2 days back-to-back Independence Day shows, July 4th and July 5th. The July 4th main event, El Desperado and Jun Kasai versus Homicide and John Moxley in a Doomsday no disqualification tag team match. And then July 5th, they came back with a final death match, Moxley versus Desperado. You also had on July 5th, Eddie Kingston defeating Kenta to win the New Japan Strong Openweight title. Did a great promo. I did watch the promo that he did, though. It made the rounds online. You could find it pretty easily. Eddie Kingston talking about how important, winning this title was for him. And some other stuff along the way, just real quickly. We were wondering about the War Dogs and like what they were going to do and what titles they were going to win. Well, most of them. They won most of them. New Japan Strong Openweight Tag Team titles. The Bullet Club War Dogs defeated Bishamon. So Alex Coughlin and Gabe Kidd are your new Japan Strong Openweight Tag Team champions. And then Clark Connors and Drilla Maloney defeated Catch 2-2 to win the Junior Heavyweight Tag Team championships on the July 4th show. The only one they did not win, though, as we predicted, IWGP Tag Team title match. Bishamon did retain that title, though, defeating Coughlin and Gabe Kidd on July 5th. And the other, note, I guess, big note here, Julia defeats Willow Nightingale to win the New Japan Strong women's title. But yeah, Joe, you saw the shows. So what did you make of the shows? Any highlights? Anything that I should definitely check out?
They're both good shows, top to bottom. They're fun shows with great energy. What I found interesting was, these are New Japan Strong shows, the branding of the American arm of New Japan. And the Korakuen Hall fans came there to watch New Japan Strong in the same way that they come to Korakuen to watch Fantastica Mania, in the same way that they come to Korakuen to watch the old ROH shows, whatever those were called, when ROH would come and run like shows just like this in conjunction with New Japan. Like, they were doing American chants, like, this is awesome.
Oh, that's cool.
And stuff like
the Korakuen crowd, man, I love those guys. The guys and girls, they do so good. Yeah, they're such smarks. I love it.
It's a smarky crowd, and they were reacting to the show the way Americans would react to a New Japan Strong show in America. So these are people who are paying attention to New Japan Strong on New Japan World, and they gave it. They went out of their way to give it the authentic New Japan Strong feel. If you could actually believe that, there's fans in Japan who are into this New Japan Strong and the way that those shows are, but that's how they came across. They were hot for everything and everyone. And they were hotter for some people than others. Lance Archer is just a god in that building to New Japan fans. He comes out, he works these mid-card matches. They introduce him last. He comes out and he just gets incredible reactions every time. Jun Kasai, the Freedoms fans came out for this. His fans came out for this. I think that a lot of New Japan fans popped for the idea of him working a New Japan main event, because he was over like a motherfucker in that main event on night one. I mean, these people came to see the Crazy Monkey. They got the Crazy Monkey. That match was, for the style of match it was very good. I have a limited appreciation of guys maiming each other in a death match. But, I went notebook on it, and they went out there. I preferred the Moxley-Despy match the next night a little more, because I felt it had a little more structure and it had more history behind it, with the Moxley-Despy feud now on chapter 3 by that point. But the one on night one was so much fun. I mean, you couldn't deny, just because of the way the crowd treated Kasai. And it was just a riot. I mean, Moxley, he did the skewers in the forehead. And he goes all out. He doesn't, just because he's a big star and a millionaire, he doesn't treat these matches like that. He loves this shit, and he wrestles like he loves it, and he's there to fucking bleed and do all the spots. The board with the forks on it that Kasai brought out, and he was bumping on that board just like all the other guys were. Despy's a fucking sicko, and he loves all this shit too.
Also doesn't need to do this shit, but chooses to. So it's you appreciate that a little bit.
And Despy and Kasai won. You knew that they would. You knew that Homicide was there to take the fall, because you had to put heat on the singles match the next night, with Despy and Moxley. And, it didn't matter that the outcome was never in dispute. It was easily the best. I shouldn't say easily, because let me tell you something. That War Dogs versus Catch 2 semi-main event was great. Connors, and he's now Drilla Maloney.
Drilla
Maloney in New Japan. It's even on the Cryon. Drilla Maloney. So, look, Akira and TJP, especially Akira in this match, he took some hellacious bumps. He did a dive. They were brawling up in the balcony in the bleachers, and he did a dive over that entryway, like off the entryway down, onto the guys below. You'll see guys do that a couple times a year, but he did that dive. He did a dive, a scary one back at ringside, where he went flipping over the top rope, and then like the Bullet Club guys didn't catch him properly, and he took a flat back on the floor, and I thought he was dead. TJP looked real concerned too, but he was all right. So Akira worked really hard in the match. And Catch 2, another great match. They lost the titles. I really wish their title reign didn't get interrupted, and I wish this was a clean ending of their title reign. But they had to win them back and before this and all that. But those were easily the two best matches on the show, and I preferred the Doomsday main event to this match. ever so slightly. But everything else on the show was either good or a lot of fun. Even the stuff that wasn't necessarily good was fun. Like Kingston and Romero versus Gato and Kenta, the interactions between, Kingston and Gato and things like that, made for a fun match. And the New Japan Strong people, like I said, were all over. Like, you had Bad Dude Tito come out there to face the DKC. These people were there to see New Japan Strong.
They were there to see Bad Dude Tito. I love it.
Yeah, and the DKC, the openers on both nights featured the Freedoms guys who came with Kasai. So, Dragon Libre, who I thought was a real standout of the 6-man on night one, he took the fall. A lot of times that's how it goes, right? Like, the guy who's going to take the fall, like, they'll give him the shine because they know he's eating the fall, but I thought that he looked really good. The other guys were a little too shindy for me, and they were doing spots with like a stuffed animal. I don't need that. That annoyed me. And they did the stuffed animal spots the next night too, but it was the pre-show match. So you can't harp too hard on it. But, and those guys, it was a big spot for them. They're Freedoms guys, and they got to work a New Japan show in Cork and Hall. And, they were seconding Kasai later in the night, and they acted as the seconds for the death match the next night. And that was probably a big deal to those dudes, so good for them. And I'm not going to go match by match on both nights. It's going to take too long. But night one, basically, the mid-card was a setup for the singles matches the next night. Kingston worked opposite of Kenta. Willow worked opposite of Julia. She teamed with Momo, and Julia teamed with that Thekla. And they had a little, perfectly competent tag match. The Strong title change with Coughlin and Kidd over Bishamon was a good, solid match. And then the next night they did the rematch. And as we figured, that was a way to get the Strong titles back on a Strong team that's going to work in the U.S. and keep the other titles on Bishamon in light of, the whole thing with Aussie Open that screwed up probably all the plans. So, and Lawlor worked a singles match night one against Kosei Fujita. Team Filthy was over on both nights with these fans. So that was night one, which I thought was the slightly better show only because it had the two, the semi and the main were great matches. I didn't think Kingston and Kenta was a great match. Your mileage may vary when you watch it because, as we know, Kenta's washed. And this was one of those nights where Kingston just didn't look that good physically. And he has those. Now, and people are going to get mad at me because it's this big, great moment for Eddie Kingston. I get it. Like, from that standpoint, it just delivered. But it was hard to suspend disbelief down the stretch because I didn't think either guy was good in this match. I thought they both looked like guys who are clearly on the downside, which they both are. Physically, they're both on the downside.
Yeah, well, good thing the G1's coming up and they're both in it. So,
yeah, that's why I say when it comes to the G1 with Kingston, he's going to have two matches that blow everybody's doors off, and he's going to have two matches that are two of the worst G1 matches you'll ever see. That is a guarantee because just the physical state he's in, he's going to have matches with certain people where it's just a disaster. I hope people are prepared for that. But at the same time, he's probably going to have a match or two which are going to be phenomenal.
Oh, that match with Ishii is going to be fucking tremendous.
Yeah, so this, I thought, look, if you're watching this for smooth work, look elsewhere. I thought it was messy, but you might not need this to be, if you're just wrapped up in Eddie Kingston and the emotion of it.
Right. The vibes of it might be enough for you to get by.
Yeah, it's the vibe. Like, did those spinning back fists look good? No, they looked awful. He didn't look good in the match. And it's not like he's in there with, prime Kenta. He's in there with another guy who sometimes looks like shit. So, from a technical standpoint, I can't put that match over, but it had the emotion and they had a good closing stretch plan. They just did it in slow motion. They both work at 0.75 speed. But yeah, Kingston in tears and, whether he was working or not, it came across like it meant a lot to him. That's all that matters, right? Like it came across genuine. Whether it was or not is immaterial. His post-match promo, same thing. Like, the promo in the back, so really great moment. I struggled with the match itself, though. I have to be honest. Moxley Despy was the best match across the two shows for me, edging out the main event from night one. probably better than the match they had in the U.S. Haven't really thought about it, but I probably prefer this one. Looking at my notes, I went 4.5 minus on Moxley Despy, and I went 4.25 plus on the tag from the night before. So essentially the same rating, but I preferred the second night a little more. And yeah, like night one, the rest of this card was a lot of fun. You know, the Bishamon Bullet Club rematch where they attacked them before the bell coming off the heat from night one, you know, and they had another hot match, very similar to the match they had on night one. Julia versus Willow, it was all right. I mean, it was okay. I don't know. I feel like early in the match, they were uncomfortable with each other because it was a little messy. But as the match moved along, I thought they kind of got into more of a groove. But it never hit a gear where I thought it was a great match or anything like that. But it was good. Like, there's nothing bad on these shows. The floor was like 2 3/4, in and out in 7 minutes and having some fun. They turned that match. We talked about this last week, but with Connors and Maloney winning the junior tag titles, they turned that match into a title match with Rocky and Yo. Rocky cut a promo. He said, look, Yo's a 5-time champion. I'm an 8-time champion. This is New Japan Strong. Let's make this a title match. And Connors and Maloney did the heel thing where they're like, no. And then Maloney was funny. He took the mic and he was like, no, I had many drinks last night. Many drinks. No title match, right? And the crowd laughed at that. But then they called down one of the suits. I think it was Sugabayashi. I don't know which one it was. Doesn't matter. Rocky called down the suit and was pleading with him to make it a title match. And then the heels got brave and they were like, you know what? Fuck it. We'll defend the titles. And then so they made it a title match. That popped the crowd. And then the heels ended up winning anyway. And then, cut another heel promo. So that was probably, for my money, the second best match on the show. If you weren't hot on the work between Kingston and Kenta. And Oscar Lube had a mystery opponent because Kratos got injured the night before. So it ended up being Satoshi Kojima. And when his music hit, the building popped for that. So those are pretty much all the highlights of both nights.
All right, so there you go. It looks like I do want to check those shows out. So I will definitely keep those in mind. It looks like enough fun stuff throughout that, and knowing the crowd was all in on the fact that they were watching a New Japan Strong show just helped me even more. And I kind of, because Cork and Hall, they'll do that for a lot of things, like you mentioned, Fantastic Media, they'll do it. They did it for the Honor Rising shows, I think, were the Ring of Honor shows. That's cool. I love that. It's like, it's one of the things that every year when Fantastic Media would come, it's one of my favorite things, that they get the vuvuzelas out, they get all the noisemakers out, and they just have a hell of a time. And that seems like it'd be such a cool atmosphere to go there and be like such a smark. You know what I mean? Like you don't get that in America. You tend to get like a lot of American crowds that will sort of all do the same thing no matter where you are. There's a few crowds that feel a little different or whatever, but yeah, the fact that these people can just, they'll go to that show and say, okay, what is the show? Who is running this show? Okay, cool. We're going to adapt to what they do and try to give them the most authentic thing here in court. And it just rules. I love that they do that. So
Archer made it seem like him and Zayn are going to be a tag team moving forward.
I kind of like that team. Yeah, I didn't see this match, so I can't speak to it, but I think I like the vibe of that team. I think I do.
They beat the TMDK C team with Bad Dude Tito and Kosei Fujita, and then he did mic work, and he said he called them. He combined the two nicknames. He called them Murder Sauce or something like that, because Alex Zane's gimmick over there is that he loves Taco Bell.
He loves Taco Bell. Yeah.
So he made it. I don't know if he was just doing an impromptu thing because he was so over and he wanted, or if he really was instructed to do that and they're going to be a team on the American shows. I don't know. He made it seem like they're going to be a team moving forward, though. Okay, I'll give you a little something. The second night, Akira and TJP, they're facing Homicide and Rohei Oiwa. Okay. I knew in a million years they were never going to do it because Oiwa is still a young lion, like a full-on young lion. He's not even Kosei Fujita, who's like the young boy of TMDK, but not really a young lion anymore. And he's not like, he's still a full-on young lion. I really wish Catch 2-2 would have lost that match. And the reason is they just lost their titles the night before. It was a kind of a violent match. Akira took all these crazy bumps. I wish in pro wrestling, especially in a situation like this, they thought about things like that more. Akira should have came out all taped up. You know what I mean?
Right.
They should have wrestled like behind a step because they went through this grueling title loss the night before. And that would have been the perfect spot to give Oiwa a big upset win, because he's not going to be a young lion much longer.
Right. They're a little off. Like they're not, their heart's not fully in it. They're injured. They're annoyed.
They're beat up physically, you know, and you know, that's the kind of shit, like, not to fantasy book, but that's the kind of shit I would do, you know, and it'd be the perfect opportunity to put the young lion over. And he's not like, he's an advanced young lion. Like, he's not a guy with the shaved head who's just doing Boston crabs. Like, he's not going to be a lion much longer. So if you're going to do that kind of upset with a young lion, this would be the time to do it. And this would have been the perfect opportunity, but they just don't do things that way. You know, these guys just do not win. You know, you could put on one hand, count the time. They just don't do it. But I'm watching this match thinking, man, this would have been the perfect opportunity to do something cool like that. You know, and kind of, you know, catch 2-2's kind of in the shitter mentally and physically, and this guy steals one, you know, and then if you want on like the next tour that they're all on, they could just beat them and get the win back, you know, and you can tell that story. But I don't know. It's just the kind of stuff that a lot of these bookers never think about and never do. And I wish they did. But anyway, overall, both shows were a lot of fun. My advice would be, every single title match is worth your time, all of them. And your mileage might vary on some of them. I know I saw people who, obviously the Kingston Kenta, there were people who liked it a lot more than I did. And I didn't hate it, but, you know, and there were people who really liked Julia Willow more than me too. You know, I would maybe go 3 1/4 on that, but I've seen people go as high as 4. So, you know, every title match is worth the time. And then I would say, you know, if you're pressed for time and you can't watch the entire shows, I would pick and choose your favorite wrestlers out of the other matches, because every match on both nights was a lot of fun. None of them miss. None of these matches miss from that standpoint.
There you go. So that's the New Japan Strong. And these are, by the way, if you are going to watch these are not available. If you're a New Japan World subscriber, it's not enough. You do have to buy these as pay-per-view shows, right? And I don't, are they going on the free aspect, or they are the free area of New Japan World, or are they always pay-per-views? I forget now how that works. If they're,
listen, I think we're going down a bad road. I think eventually we're going to be paying $9.99 yen for this shit and paying for all their big. I think that's coming.
Yeah, you're paying for Wrestle Kingdoms, you're paying for G1 finals, you're paying, yeah, for sure.
And I think that's horse shit. But what are you going to do? You know, it's like, if that's the case, I don't want to pay $9.99 a month. Like,
right, I'll just pick and choose the big shows I want to watch. Yeah,
right. But they're not going to do it that way. They won't do it that way though. Like they'll make they'll make it to where you can only buy the shows if you subscribe. Isn't that the way it is now? Like, I don't think if you're a non-subscriber, you could pay for these shows.
Yeah, I don't know.
I might be wrong. The chat will know. The chat will know.
Yeah, I don't think I've bought one of these pay-per-views yet, so I don't know how this works. That's kind of why I'm asking. I wasn't sure if, like, after a week they show up on New Japan World, but I think they're almost always on the pay-per-view section of the website. But yeah, I don't know how it works. The chat will know, and we'll jump in when they say it. But
well, New Japan Strong is now matches off of these shows.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, so I'll just watch through New Japan Strong. So
you can watch them on New Japan Strong, because when New Japan Strong has shows in the US, they eventually get slow rolled on New Japan Strong.
Right. Oh, okay. Yeah, well, then that works out perfectly then.
I don't see why this would be any different. If that's what you're asking, I didn't really understand what you were asking.
Well, I was just asking, like, is this something where if I wait a week, it's going to be free on New Japan World, or do I need to pay for these things like this week, or what? You know what I mean? Like, I didn't know if it was something like that.
If I had to guess, I'd say these matches will get slow rolled on weekly on New Japan Strong, but you won't get all of them.
Yeah, right. Yeah, well, I'll figure it out.
So, you know, wait it out. I mean, you might end up 4 weeks from now getting Kenta, Eddie Kingston, or something for the $9.99 that you're paying.
All right.
So, I don't know. I just think this all leads to a bad
Oh, you're
This all leads to-
you're paying for Wrestle Kingdoms, the G1 Finals, and King of Pro Wrestling. Yeah, every single one of these major shows you're paying for soon enough.
Yeah.
We said at the time they did the test case with Stardom. They kind of dipped their toes in it for a little bit, and now it's like, the fun is over. The $9.99 is over. We all had our fun. We all had our laugh. WWE Network realized it didn't work, and everyone's going to realize it doesn't work soon enough. And it's going to be back to paying, the good old days. Ustream. What was the Nico? Back to the good old days of Ustream and Nico.
Nico.
Remember Nico?
Do you remember when
you'd load up the screen and there was just 1,000 chat messages coming up, and you're like, "What is going on?" And it's all in Japanese. You had to close 1,000 things, and you eventually got there, but it was like, God damn it, what is this? What am I doing?
You had to buy your Nico points. Remember?
Right.
And my cards would never
my
work.
bank, they were calling and like, hey, we just found a fraud. There's someone trying to buy Japanese pay-per-views using your card. And I'm like, no, that's me. That is me. You're okay. So
I remember watching World Tag League like house shows on Nico. I remember the debut of Luke Gallows. I went out of my way to watch that on like Nico, and I'm like, what am I doing with my life? It's like Luke Gallows and with like the chats going across the screen.
All the emojis, like it was just like 1,000 emojis and stuff.
Yeah, against like Yuji Nagata and fucking, I don't know, maybe I don't even know who he would have, like Strongman or some shit. It's like, why am I? I
think we were post Strongman at that point, but maybe we weren't.
No, it's like, what am I doing? And like, one of those
it was
World
so
Tag Leagues,
expensive too. It was like every one of those Nico shows was like $39, and you're like, I gotta buy it though. I have to. I can't not buy it. I bought 27,000 Nico points. I got to use these some way.
May as well use them,
right?
To watch Luke Gallows debut in New Japan.
Good old Nico. So I think it's
and then Ustream. Remember, it was like 9 G1 shows for $120,
and we were happy. We were like, "Fuck yeah, man, great! That
what
rules.
a deal! That's like $11 a show. This is great."
I remember that year, you bought it, and I think we either split it or something like that, and it would be like, you couldn't sign on with 2 people at once, or else the whole thing would crash and it would just be a disaster. So I remember texting you during that G1 and be like, "Are you done?" You're like, "Yeah, I'm done." I'm like, "All right, cool." I went in when you were. It was just like, we were trying to buck the system a little bit because it's a lot of money. But like you said, at that time we were like, "What a value, really?" 9 G1. I guess we're going back to that, man. Going back to that.
We're double, honestly. Because the novelty of seeing the G1 shows live was just mind blowing. Like, that changed everything.
Do you remember the quality of Ustream too? That shit looked beautiful too. It looked 1,000 times better than New Japan World looks.
Ustream fucking looked good. I never got the buffering wheel. And this was like 11, 12 years ago too. When all these other streaming services fucking sucked ass. And remember, Dragongate was on Ustream. Rich, we used to pay like $18 for Dragongate core.
I know. At the end of the year, I think my total Dragongate payments in like 2013 and 2014, I paid like $600 for like all these Dragongate shows, because you could get Korikins, you could get all the major shows. The major shows were like 25 or something like that, and it was like, fuck yeah, man.
They were like $25. Yeah, it was and then you'd get the G1 for $120. Yeah, you'd have several $100 racked up by the end of the year. And
gladly,
I would buy
do it
gladly, because it was such a novelty too, to watch. I was like, oh my god, Dragongate Korikins live in my fucking den. What kind of fucking world is this? And it was, but you look at the price. It's like we gladly we would have paid double. I'm telling you, we would have paid double
for sure.
Because we thought those were bargains.
Well, especially that 2013 G1, man. I'd pay $10,000 to watch that G1 again, man. God damn.
Oh shit! Night after night, and it was just night after night. It was just like 13 straight nights. I remember I was just physically. I felt like I wrestled in that tournament by the end of it, because I was writing the reviews every morning, right after the shows would end, and I was just determined to be the first review up on the internet.
And we were
every morning.
And
it helped us grow. But then I was like, I can't do that. Like, after the first couple of years, I'm like, I cannot do this anymore. Like, I'm a man in my prime, and I'm physically worn down by staying up all night, bleary eyed, and then trying to write good reviews too. Like, I wasn't doing like I was going to name people. I probably shouldn't do that. I was trying to write good reviews. I wasn't just trying to write move recaps and fucking shitty, throw a star rating on a 2-sentence review. It was a lot of fucking stress and it wore me down.
Yeah, there was. I definitely remember one of them you sent me. It had to be like night 10 or whatever, and it was like you weren't even making sense. Your sentences were awful. I was like, Joe, you got to go to bed, man. Just forget. It's okay. You're like, get it up, Rich. Get it up. I'm like, I got to edit this thing. These sentences don't make sense. You're like, well, I'll read it. I'm like, just go to bed. It's okay. I will figure it out. We'll get it up. We'll be out before everybody else. Trust me. Nobody else is spending, $112 to watch all these G1s and getting a review up at 7:30 a.m. We'll be okay. We'll be fine. But yeah, you started getting real bleary-eyed, and yeah, the descent into madness was becoming clear as you sent each new review, and you're like, here we go, here it is. I'm like, oh god, what do we got here? But we got them all. We got them all. They're all good too. I'm sure they're still up in the archives. voiceofwrestling.com.
Don't do that. Don't read those.
They're probably pretty good. No, they're probably good.
Please don't. I don't know. I'm glad half of our audio is gone too. I don't know.
Anyway,
weird about.
Anyway, all right. So let's get out of Japan here. Let's go into the world of America. Before we do that, though, I do have to let you know that this episode of the Flagship Podcast is brought to you by BetStamp. Sports betting has rapidly risen in popularity, and we want to connect you with an opportunity to get started and get ahead. Having multiple sportbooks accounts is the most simple way to maximize your profits, and there has never been a better time to sign up. When you visit our page at betstamp.app/VOW, that's BETSTAMP.app/VOW, you'll be connected to all of the sports books in your region, along with a review of each platform, as well as its unique benefits. And all of these sports books have valuable sign-up offers for new users, and when you register through our link, you will automatically receive the top offer at each one. Also, when you use multiple sports books, you can ensure that you always access the best available odds, which is the key to successful sports betting. We've talked about BetStamp a few times on the show, but one of the key things about BetStamp is, not only do you have an access to sign up and get all those new user offers and new deals or whatever is going to come to you from a new sports book, but then when you have BetStamp, you can also line shop as well and find the best odds for whatever you're going to bet. You know what you want to bet. You know the game. You know the futures bet you want to do. You know the prop you want to do. Go with the best odds. You don't have to be loyal to this sports book or that sports book. Go with what's going to make you the most money. If you want to take advantage of these benefits as well as support the Voice of Wrestling Podcast Network, sign up for your next sports book at betstamp.app/VOW. Again, that's BETSTAMP.app/VOW, betstamp.app/VOW. And we thank them, of course, for sponsoring this week's show. So, all right, let's get to the world of America, Joe. Let's talk about Money in the Bank. WWE Money in the Bank and the Bloodline Civil War, the Usos versus the Bloodline. Let's go right to that main event. Then we'll kind of work our way through the rest of the show. We get 32 minutes and 5 seconds here in this main event. We get about a 25-minute promo package before the match starts to kind of catch you up on this Emmy Award-winning story. And then it ends with Jey Uso getting the pin over Roman Reigns. First time Roman Reigns has been pinned since October of 2019 or something. It was sometime in late 2019. It's been a long-ass time since Roman Reigns has lost, and they finally do it here with Jey Uso defeating Roman Reigns in the Bloodline Civil War. So we'll dig into this match a little bit, but overall, what do you think of that match? And sort of, we've had our thoughts about the Bloodline and the Usos thing or whatever. What do you think about this match, main event of Money in the Bank 2023?
I mean, it's just not for me. It's not about the match. It's not about the action. It's about, we know what it's about. And I've ranted on it plenty. It's just it's funny because the people who love it think it's so great and well done and well performed. And I find it so inauthentic. And I think that's why it doesn't connect with me at all. There was a moment after the match was over, after Roman had lost. I don't know if you saw this, but he's sitting outside the ring with his back up against the apron, and he's all distraught because he lost. This is Roman now. And he's muttering into the camera, and just, sobbing and all of this. And then there was a tweet of someone who had filmed it from their seat. And you can see the cameraman and another assistant or stagehand or something directing him, like with hand signals. Like, okay, go. And then Roman turns
cower
on
in
the
fear, cry, sob, get angry. Now.
And then there's another guy like doing like fingers, like a countdown. Like, it's not pro wrestling, Rich. And it comes across so inauthentic. And it's just not what I don't like it. I mean, it's just, and it's a problem because I think this is
get fucking used to it, man.
I mean, this thing worked. This storyline is working ever since Sammy got involved. It kind of flipped the switch with their fan base where they weren't just praising it effusively online. Now it's drawing real money.
Yeah.
And they're selling lots of tickets. And they're
the lifeblood of it, for those who haven't followed over the last 3 years of this, is it started as like, wow, this is a really unique way to kind of utilize the no crowd Thunderdome thing with Roman cutting the mid-match promos against, Jay. We talked about those. That was in like the fall of 2020 when they were in the midst of the Thunderdome, and it was like, oh, okay, this is a unique way to approach these matches where these guys are going to kind of talk loudly while the match is going on and slowly work, and Roman was doing his heel turn. So it was all felt different and strange and kind of like, all right, yeah. And they got a lot of praise because it was like, oh, wow, they're doing something different with Roman finally. They're trying something different or whatever. And that praise, like you said, sort of lasted for about a year and a half, and nothing really changed throughout, even when crowds came back. And then it started to get a little cold where people were like, all right, I don't know, like what's really going on here? What's the next level? Then Sammy comes in and then it starts really lighting on fire. And like people liked the Roman stuff, but it wasn't drawing money. It wasn't getting attendance. It wasn't really, people weren't buying tickets to go see it. People weren't really watching the shows to go see it, but it was being praised by a lot of, hardcore WWE fans. Yeah, the hardcore WWE fans thought this was like the next thing and this was so great. And a lot of us were just like, I don't know, it's not working and I just don't really like it. Sammy gets involved, and now it's just the whole thing's on fire. Now it's making money. People are going to see shows. It's doing grid ratings. It's doing huge social numbers. It's doing everything you could possibly want out of it. And is still being praised as like this next level type stuff. So yeah, that's sort of where the timeline went. That's
what really took off. And from a business standpoint, because now SmackDown does 2.5 million viewers every week. Early on, they were just still hovering around their 2 million.
Right.
Every now and then we do a little under 2 million.
Well, we would make that joke that like they'd announced Roman for a show and it didn't matter. Nobody went and bought tickets.
It didn't matter.
Nobody cared.
It didn't make a difference. Correct. And then even the ticket sales. But now the ticket sales are on fire. Now the SmackDown rate. Now Raw isn't quite on the same, they just did 1.8 million viewers this past week. Now I get it. It was, what was it? The day before the 4th of July. Do you want to blame does July 3rd matter? I don't know. Maybe Raw will bounce back next week. But the point is SmackDown undoubtedly, they do 2.5 million every week now. And they're selling a ton of tickets. And this thing is is undoubtedly working for their audience. And instead of me just telling everybody why it doesn't work for me, which we've been doing for 3 years now, it might be more interesting to talk about how they're going to do more of this. I mean, NXT is this. Mm-hmm. If you watch NXT on Tuesdays, they're teaching their developmental talent. They don't cut promos anymore. There's no such thing as promos in NXT. It's all this kind of shit. Little fucking one-act plays in between the matches, pre-shot on a set. That's how they're bringing up their developmental talent. And it's increasingly becoming what you see on Raw and SmackDown. And and because they're the market leader, it's going to bleed into everybody else as well. I already think, I wasn't sure if I was ready to expose the Flagship audience to this take. I think it's bleeding into AEW already. I think they are shook by the Bloodline thing. And I'm starting to see signs of this kind of shit on Dynamite. Not to the full extent, but I think they're dipping their toes in the water. I'm going to leave that at that for this week. This isn't the week to get into that. But this is going to be highly influential because it's something that worked. And anything that works in wrestling is going to be influential.
Right, especially when they do it. Especially when the top company in the world does it.
Yeah, and I think this is bad, bad, bad. I mean, I am not looking forward to a world where this bullshit catches on the same way that cinematic matches did, and everybody was doing cinematic matches. And that kind of, the further we move from the pandemic, the less we're seeing of that, okay? And plus, none of those cinematic matches were as successful as this thing has been. But, people are going to lean into this and try this shit. And to me, it's a little depressing from my standpoint because I hate it. It doesn't work for me at all. In fact, I find it off-putting. I actively avoid a lot of time SmackDown because I don't want to sit through these Bloodline. I can't even. My natural inclination is to say skit, not promo, because that's what they are. It's like little one-act plays every Friday.
I know. So for people that didn't see, before this match, they run like a 25-minute. It's the longest pre-match promo you've ever seen in your life.
I'm so bored.
Getting through the whole story of this, and they're it's 3 years. They got to get through 3 years of stories here, but they'll skip over like an entire year because nothing happened in the entire year. And then they're focusing on the promos, or like you said, skits that led to this match happening. And I'm watching this, and I'm thinking, I don't understand why people. It's the Usos, and so it's after Night of Champions or whatever, right? What the hell was the show? I think it was Night of Champions or whatever. Where the one where Jimmy turns on Roman. Who fucking cares? Well, yeah, sure. Let's call it Night of Champions. So
let's go with Night of Champions.
Yeah, great. Works for me. So I don't think it's Night of Champions. I don't know what it is. I don't care.
Well,
and
the turn.
Yeah. so Jimmy turned, but then like they have to go to SmackDown. And Jimmy's like, you with me, Uso? You not with me? You're my brother. Are you with me or are you with him, our cousin? It's like they do the thing that you always mention where every time they have to say cousin, brother, as if we don't know that the Usos are brothers and that Roman's their cousin. It's like,
there might be one person watching who doesn't know that.
So they play the whole promo, and Jimmy says, "My brother, you're my brother. That's our cousin, but we're blood. I'm brother." I'm like, all right, I get it. Yeah, I get it. And
we heard you. Your brothers. We heard you.
Yeah, we got it. We're okay. Oh, Solo is also okay. We get it. But like,
also your twins. We're not.
Right. We got it. And they're going through this promo, and they're playing it out, and it's like Jimmy saying, "Are you with me? Or are you not with me?" And Jay's like, no, I don't know if I'm with you or not. And then Roman comes up and Roman's like, no, I'm with you. And then he hugs Jimmy. And then he goes, no, I'm not with you. And then Solo turns on Jimmy. And then Jay has to decide who he's with. And he goes, Jimmy, I'm with you. Wait, no, I'm not with you. I'm with Roman. No, I'm not with you. I'm with Roman. It's like, and then he super kicks Roman. I'm with you. I'm not with Roman. And I'm like, what is this? Why was this good?
It's been 3 years of this.
I know. And they're just sitting in the ring saying, Us, cousin, brother, are you with me? Are you not with me? Do I trust you? Who do you trust? I'm your blood. He's not our, we're supposed to be a family. He's not your blood. I'm your blood. It's like, oh God, I'm watching this.
And they're I don't know if you saw this, but they're doing another trial.
They're doing a trial. Yes, of course. A trial. Great. It's just like, the thing about it is, if you want to say, I think where I land on a lot of this is that I think it's bad. It's not for me. Like, I don't like it, but I'd be fine if somebody said, hey, this is a good story they're telling here. I'm glad WWE is trying to tell a long-term story. That's fine. If you wanted to say that, I don't know that I could argue with you that, they're trying to tell a long-term story here and they're putting a lot of effort into it. Because they are. They're clearly putting a lot of effort into it. They're clearly telling a long-term story, and it is clearly working for them, ratings-wise, financially, all that sort of stuff. But I can't get down with, like, this is cinema. This is the greatest thing to ever happen in wrestling. This is the greatest story in wrestling history. This is the greatest story in WWE history. Because it's not. And when you challenge people to, like, okay, why is this the greatest story? What are the twists? What are the turns? You kind of get left with nothing. People will just say, it's easy to say it's the greatest ever. It's the greatest ever.
Yeah.
Okay, well, how and why? Yeah.
And then there's people who say how complex it is, and you say, well, what's complex about it?
Give me the complex. Because I'm sitting in the ring and these guys are just saying, I'm with you. No, I'm with him. No, I'm with you. No, I'm with him. No, I'm with you. No, I'm with him. And then they throw super kicks at each other. And I'm like, all right, that doesn't seem like the greatest story ever told. Like, it just seems like four people.
And it's been that same story for 3 years.
Right. It just seems like at one point an Uso doesn't trust Roman. Roman doesn't trust an Uso. The Usos have to decide which are they with each other or are they with Roman. And sometimes they're with each other, and then sometimes they're with Roman. And
sometimes Roman's manipulations and gaslighting works, and now it hasn't. Now they finally
And I guess that's good, but
I'm going to disagree with one thing you said. You said they're finally telling a long-term story. I don't think they are telling a long-term story. I think they've just been repeating the same shit for 3 years because it's working, and they're dragging it out, and there is no story. What the fuck is the story? The story is Roman is a manipulative, insecure asshole who's gaslighting his family, right? I think we would all agree with that.
Right, and that's been since day one. Yeah.
No, it's been since day one, and they've just been repeating the Usos being too dumb to see this, like almost coming to clarity, and then falling back in line. That's been the story for 3 years, and finally they turned on him after 3 years. I don't think this is any kind of brilliant long-term story. This is the company hitting on something, knowing it's successful, and just dragging out the same story as long as they possibly can to milk the most money out of it. That's what this is. What's this great long-term story? What is it? I don't even think they know where they're going. They just take it week by week and stretch it out in every conceivable way that they can. I don't think there is an endpoint. In fact, Triple H himself said that there was no endpoint. He said that. It came out of his mouth, not mine. So I disagree from that standpoint. I don't think this is a great long-term story. If it, then someone tell me what the fucking story is then. Because it took 3 years to have any advancement on the fucking thing. So how good can it be? 3 years. I don't know. I hate to be condescending or rude, but I think you have to be very simple to be entertained by the same story that never advances for 3 years. You must be simple-minded to be entertained by that.
And when it does advance, it's not.
And maybe that's what you want. Maybe you want something simple. But if you genuinely think, like Rich is saying, that this is some kind of brilliant fucking cinema, you're out of your fucking mind. I don't. Someone explain it to me then, because what am I missing? And I really didn't want to do this for the 9,000th show, but it's unavoidable. Because it's the same fucking thing that we have to do. To me, it bores me to tears. I am so not interested in anything that happens among any of these people.
Oh yeah,
nothing ever does happen.
Well, that pre-match promo was going on for 25 minutes, and it's Jay, getting to the mic and being like, "No, enough. He's my brother." I'm like, "Oh my god, what are we doing?"
This for 3 years.
Oh, enough.
There's no advancement.
And then they did. They finally did advance it. So I'm like, oh, thank God we did something. But like, I don't know. It's one of those things. I don't get it. I just don't. I don't. And it's going to be one of those things that I'm just not going to get. And like you said, I'm worried.
Never going to get it. Yeah.
And it's going to be a big thing because it's clicking with that fan base. It's clicking with a lot of people. And it's just, I don't get it. I am now that guy that's just like, I don't get it. I just don't understand it. But
it's bad. But here's the thing. This is what we have to remember, that unfortunately, and this has been the case, forever, really, bad entertainment from a critical standpoint is almost always the most popular entertainment from a popular standpoint, whether it's really bad laugh track sitcoms. And the most popular example in recent years has been Big Bang Theory. That's not a well-reviewed show. Critics
I was going to say, does anybody watch Big Bang Theory and think, oh, this is brilliant. This is great stuff here?
Probably not, but it was the number one show on TV for however many years or whatever the case was, despite the fact that no one really thought it was good.
Yeah, it was just easily consumable.
It's easy to watch. It's
easily
comfortable.
Consumable, yeah.
You look at movies, and look, I know that the Venn diagram is almost the perfect circle. I'm not trying to insult anyone, okay? But these comic book movies have been the only things making money in Hollywood for what, 15 years now? 10 years, 15 years, whatever it is. And again, no one I shouldn't say no one. There are some, I think a lot of people who even like the comic book movies for what they are roll their eyes when people try to say that those are great films or great cinema, because they're not. They're easy to watch. They're fun. You get bad guys and good guys. My point here is very often stuff that isn't critically praised, stuff that in fact is critically panned, ends up being enormously popular for whatever reason, because it's easy to consume. I think people just like turning on their TV. I think wrestling fans like turning on their TV on Friday night and watching the Usos and Roman Reigns do their little one night, one set play for that evening, where they do the same fucking story over and over, the same way that Sheldon tells the same fucking jokes on Big Bang Theory every week on fucking CBS. It's the same thing, Rich. I think that is the root of this. It's comfortable. It's easy. It's not complicated. And then you have this small group of people who, and these are the ones that get on your nerves, who try to make it more than what it is and try to tell you that it's some great story or that it's cinema or that it's, it should be winning Emmys.
If you just say it's good, if you just say, I like this and it's good, I have it's when we get this, like, this is the greatest story ever told in professional wrestling. This is cinema. This should be winning an Emmy. Like, Jey Uso shivering with, anger is not going to, no. Watch a movie, for God's sakes. Watch a television show. No.
Jimmy Uso listening through a cracked door, making a scowl face.
Right, is not winning an Emmy. Stop.
When Jay's talking to Kevin Owens, would get laughed out of any fucking Emmy consideration. I mean, it's preposterous. We all know that's preposterous. We all know it's junk. Okay? It's junk. It's pro wrestling. Pro wrestling is never, ever going to be Emmy. It's never going to be. It's pro wrestling. At its core, it's garbage. We all know that. And pro wrestling stories are never going to be deep and complex. That's the antithesis of a good story in pro wrestling. A good pro wrestling story is these two people don't like each other and they're going to settle it. And yeah, it could be a little deeper than that. You can add a few layers, but and that's the thing. When I say that this shit isn't cinema and this shit isn't deep or complex, I'm not telling you that other pro wrestling shit is. It's
right.
Not.
No.
There is no pro wrestling that is deep or complex. It's it never really gets any deeper than, Tetsuya Naito can't beat this particular guy at the Tokyo Dome, and that's the fucking story. And it goes on for a couple of years until he does it. And now Tetsuya Naito's thing is he wants to do his roll call at the end of the Tokyo Dome because Kenta ruined it for him last time. These are good stories, but they're not deep or complex. They're just very simple stories, and I'm just picking out one.
Right. We talked about it earlier with Shun and Diamante. That was a great story too. Shun kind of leading this guy in, thinking, yeah, we're buddies. Nah, fuck you. We're not buddies. Go to hell.
Yeah. One guy has a conscience and the other one doesn't. And now they don't like each other because one guy screwed the other.
Or Dragon Kid with a lifelong allegiance to Ultimo Dragon or whatever, saving, sacrificing his body so that his mentor, can save his mask or whatever. It's just, it's fine.
So we don't have to pretend that this Bloodline thing is anything more than it is. A repetitive story that people find easy to understand, the same way that they find 2.5 Men repeating the same jokes every week for 8 years.
But the one guy is goofy and nerdy and the other guy has sex, Joe. And the boy farted. Yeah. The boy smells and farted. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all the same jokes every week, and there's a comfort to that. And I think that really is, and people are going to think we're being condescending assholes.
Oh, for sure. That's fine. I wouldn't be the first or the last time, so I'm not worried about that.
But I really think that's the appeal here. It has that same appeal as going to watch the fucking Thor and the event, whatever the fuck, the Avengers, fucking the fucking Spider-Man. It's all the same. It's all disposable, but it's a good time for 2 hours. And I think there's nothing wrong with people just wanting a good time for 2 hours. That's always going to hold more appeal than an art house film. And me personally, I'd rather go see the art house film. I wouldn't. You couldn't drag me kicking and screaming to a comic book movie. It's just not my thing. But I understand the appeal. And I think that's kind of at the core of what this Bloodline thing is. But people they try to make it something it isn't. I mean, so I don't know. That's my latest theory on it and why it appeals to people It's just simple entertainment, and you don't try to twist it into something more complicated than it is. I mean, the Elite and Hangman Page, it's again, everyone understands that story. No one tries to sell you that it's cinema or that it's, some kind of deep, complex story. We all get it, and we all understand what's happening. And maybe it's a little deeper than your typical pro wrestling story when you factor in, how the Dark Order feels slighted and all of that other bullshit. I get it. But again, none of this is like, nobody needs to be sitting down writing a thesis on what all of this means. And it's pro wrestling. It's wrestling.
Right.
And at the end of the day, it's always going to be people that don't like other people and they want to beat them up for money or titles or pride or women. Well, you don't really see much of that anymore because fucking you can't really do that.
Yeah, the women as objects of the result of a wrestling match.
Right.
Those days are probably over. But yes.
Historically, though, that was a big thing.
Of course, yeah.
It's, so anyway, I don't know. To circle back, so from that standpoint, this story bores the shit out of me. I don't think there's much of a story there. If someone who's into this would like to explain to me what makes this complex, other than people side-eyeing each other and making faces. Look,
right, like
that's
truly,
not
let put your heart into it.
That.
Put your heart into it.
I feel like
you can publish it on his site. Hey, we published a pro Bloodline article this week. For
I want you to come on the show and try to explain to me why this is complex.
Yeah, like that's all we're, voiceswrestling.com, Flagship Podcast. Feel free. I'd love to.
I cannot promise you won't get attacked because we will absolutely
we are going to attack you. But if
because I feel like I have a thorough understanding. I feel like I have a better understanding of it than the people who actually like it. Like they think Roman's like the hero.
Right. I did notice this was the first time in this match was the first time that it felt like WWE promoted that Roman cheats to win all of his matches.
Yeah.
Because like Michael, the referee took a bump and Michael Cole said, "Oh my God, he's going to do it again." And I was like, okay, we're starting to actually realize this guy's been a cheating fucking asshole for 2.5 years or whatever. Because there was this weird period where they just pretended that he was dominant. And that he was like winning all of his matches because he was better than everybody. And it was like, no, he's winning all of his matches because his family's helping him and referees are getting bumped at the right time and all these sort of things are happening. This was the first time where as I was watching it, it felt like they were pivoting a little bit towards, okay, yeah, this guy's gotten real lucky for a long time and that luck may have finally ran out.
I mean, the guy's entire catchphrase is an admission that he's insecure. He's demanding that everyone acknowledge him. Like that the whole root of that is he's insecure.
No, but people think that. But people think that it's the opposite. That he's so good that he's confident. Because they're
you know why?
They're stupid.
You know why? Because a lot of WWE fans are fucking stupid. That's why. They don't even understand the story being told. That the guy is insecure. No, they think, oh no, and part of that's Michael Cole telling them how dominant and great he is.
Right. Instead
of Michael Cole telling the right story. And now there's this whole movement to get Michael Cole a sports Emmy. Are you fucking kidding me? God. Are you kidding me? Michael Cole?
What are we doing? No. Michael Cole.
I mean, he doesn't even tell the story properly.
As he's screaming, the island of relevancy, the Roman Empire. It's like, get out of here. Come on. Watch something. I'm begging you, watch something else. Watch sports, watch a movie, watch TV, watch something. I'm begging you. Come on.
As for the rest of this show, massively disappointing.
Yeah, everybody was on fucking autopilot on this show, man.
I mean, Gunther and Matt Riddle was a nothing match.
No, that's
now look.
Go ahead.
They did work it around an injury. So it kind of limited what they were going to do. They were telling a story, Rich, with the Riddle arm injury or whatever. And I get it. So you give that one a pass for not being as good as it could have been because they were telling it. But Seth Rollins, Finn Balor was like legitimately a nothing match.
I could not believe when that match was over. 1, 2, 3. I was just like, really? Okay.
Those guys are way better than that.
Yeah.
That match did not deliver at all. Cody and Dom is a gimmick. He's just a gimmick. He's going to do the chicken shit heel thing because that's what that's the only thing he can do. And that sounds like I'm slighting him, but I guess I am. but it doesn't make for an entertaining experience.
He's in big boy matches with big boy guys. He's in there with fucking Cody Rhodes. No, we're allowed to say that the guy stinks if he stinks.
Yeah, but his character is that he's a chicken shit and he's not good. You know, so I get it on one hand. It's not like I'm defending it because it sucks. This match wasn't good or entertaining or fun in any way. But, you know, there's a wrestler in the business who, let me think of how I can word this. They didn't tell me this, but they told someone I know this. And they were like, their whole thing is Dom is great and they would love to work with Dom. And my friend's reply was, yeah, but Dom sucks. Like, why do you want to work with Dom? right. And this wrestler said, no, but that's it. That's the point. He does suck. That's why he's great. And like, so everyone knows that Dom sucks. Like on both a meta level and a real level. Do you see what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. It's like, the gimmick is that he sucks. It's all wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Like the fans think he sucks.
The gimmick is that he sucks because he does suck. And that's the only thing they can do with him. Like you can't present him in any other way other than his gimmick is that he sucks because he literally does suck. So it's like everyone recognizes that. Even people in the business recognize that he sucks. But this wrestler is like, I would love to work with him because I can get so much out of a guy that like sucks because his gimmick is that he sucks and he really sucks. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. The point is, no one thinks Dom is good except for like some of these WWE fans who, like, I don't know, they're watching something different, I guess. Like they're getting a different experience out of watching. I don't even want to call what this company is wrestling. Like I don't want to sound like that guy who was writing into the Observer in 1986, who refuses to call it wrestling, but it's drifting further and further from pro wrestling. I don't know what other way to convey, you know, but what Dom Mysterio does is like, on one hand, it's classic pro wrestling. On the other hand, it's nothing like, it's the weirdest fucking thing.
Yeah, I get it. Like in another era, this character would be just like kind of the same thing, but but also not the same thing at all. Yeah, if you, I don't know, it's hard to explain. You're right.
What he would be? He'd be someone who was good, whose
pretending
gimmick
to be
was
bad.
that he was bad.
Right.
Yes, but Dom just sucks.
He's
so
just not good. Yeah.
Right. So that's the difference. Like it would be. I can't even think of an example, like maybe Hollywood John Tatum or somebody like that who, I don't know. I can't even think of it. You get the idea though. It would be a good wrestler who knows what they're doing a gimmick that they suck.
Right. And Rhea deserves a ton of credit too. She is doing a lot of the heavy lifting.
She does all the lifting. She's the key to the act.
Yes. If you took her away, this dude is dead. Dead on arrival.
And she's the one getting catapulted. I keep seeing people saying, oh, Dom's going to be the top heel in the company. Dom's going to be in main events. I don't think so.
No.
I think this is working more for Rhea. But here's the thing. The way that this company is now, maybe Dom will be a main event because they're drifting away from...
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
It's such a weird fucking company. But all I know is this Cody Rhodes Dom thing fucking sucks.
Nah, no good.
And I've loved everything Cody has done since he got there. I've been like the Cody cheerleader since he got there. And this was fucking garbage. The ladder matches, look, here's what it comes down to.
My eyes are just glazed over as I'm seeing people hit each other in the chest and then do a move off the ladder. I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, so these WWE ladder matches, it's like Santos Escobar and LA Knight get to the ladder. They punch each other. There's two ladders. LA Knight's on one ladder. Santos is on the other ladder. And then Santos Escobar punches LA Knight in the chest and then does a Hurricane Rana. And then Ricochet goes up to the ladder. And then Shinsuke Nakamura goes up to the ladder. And then they hit each other in the back. And then Ricochet does a sunset flip off the ladder. And I'm like, all right. Like, it just feels like it's that for 20 minutes or so. You know what I mean? Like guys doing shit while standing on ladders. I don't know, man.
If you look, if you still are into the concept of these ladder matches, you probably thought these were good. If you're burnt out on these ladder matches, you probably didn't. Like Rich, your eyes were glazed over. That's all I can say about both of them. I thought Logan Paul was the clear standout of the men's ladder match. I mean, he feels like a big deal, and he feels like a star, and you know, and then physically he can do things. You know, it's like LA Knight is over and feels like a big deal, but he's just such a jag between the bells that I'm not interested in him. People are just into his speech cadence and his promos. That's great. And he's getting over, and maybe they'll push him, maybe they won't. But he doesn't have good matches. He'll never have good matches.
No. There's always that limit to, and for people that's like the first run of them like getting into LA Knight, and I there's a lot of people I know that are like, hey, what do you think about LA Knight or whatever? And I'm like, I don't know, he's been around forever. Like he's, it always reaches this point where he gets over because he can talk his way into the building, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that dude,
Yeah.
as Eli Drake, he could talk. He could get you. But there's always a limit. There was a limit in NXT. There was a limit in Impact. There's a limit in the NWA. There's always a limit to this guy because once that bell rings, once you get him to a certain spot and then that bell has to ring, he can't go to that level. So you can have your fun with, oh, this is good. Here we go. Maybe it's time for him to get a big push, but it's like, okay, you're going to do it. But trust me, it's not going to work because it just, once that bell rings in a big time match, you can't have LA Knight go for your world title in main event. You can't main event a SummerSlam. Are you kidding?
But again,
here they could. In this company, they could.
Maybe in this company, it won't matter anymore. But I still think there's
a limit.
Somewhat of a working standard at the top where, you still have to be able to have compelling matches and in the way that they have them here. And
then again, they could have Seth versus LA Knight, and everybody just goes, yeah, no, the whole match. Yeah. It's fine, and they love it, so it's whatever. You know what I mean? It's a 9 on Cage match, and I have no idea what's going on anymore, and I just go watch my All Japan Pro Wrestling. So.
Yeah, fans just making noises at each other.
Right. People going, yeah. People going, oh.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, God, kill me. I hate this so much.
Like the whole set thing, I'm like, can the fucking match start already?
I know.
Like,
get in the ring. Put your fucking yellow jacket out. Give it to a ring guy and get in the fucking ring, man.
Rich, I'm starting to get, Rich, the more I think about this, the more I'm starting to think that this just isn't for us.
I think you might be right, Joe. You might be onto something here.
Just not be for us. And they told a little story in the women's match, right, with the handcuffs and EO finally having enough of Bailey shit. So I guess that was fine.
Actually should. That's a losing thing. Like there's been no success with the Bailey thing. So EO being like, you know what? Nah, I think we're good here. I don't think we need this anymore.
Yeah, damage control fucking sucks. Yeah, I wouldn't want to be in that either.
Ditch you and your broken knees, and I'm gonna go win this ladder match. So bye. Yeah, and then she did.
Ronda turned on Shayna, and not a minute too soon because that match was.
Oh, how bad was that match? Oh my God.
Are there still Liv Morgan believers? Do they still exist?
Star making. Well, when you have that many star making performances, Joe, I think you definitely have to have. You remember that like earnest conversations about star that they made a star.
She's had so many star making performances that she's basically Dwayne Johnson at this point, right? Like that has to be the case because she's had so many star making. But seriously, does anyone still believe in her as anything?
I would no.
I don't really see it much.
Maybe like horny Liv Stan accounts, but other than that, no, nobody else.
Yeah. I don't know. Look, and here's the thing. If you're listening for the first time or you're just dropping in, it's not as if we haven't praised WWE.
No, this year. They've had great pay-per-views this year.
Yeah, but this one did nothing for me.
No, I agree.
Underwhelming matches up and down the card. And really your enjoyment level is going to be, if you're into the Bloodline, you fucking love that, I'm sure. And if you're into ladder matches, you probably love that too. But everything else was disappointing. Didn't live up.
It just felt like everybody was kind of a step slow. Like that main event did nothing for me, and but aside from that, like Rollins and Balor, that just like never. It felt. Suit Williams did the review for VoiceOfWrestling.com and just said it felt soulless, and it did. There was no real thought. This is exactly what he says. There's no real thought behind what they were doing. They just did it because it's what you do in a world title match, and that's kind of what it felt like. They were just
for sure
having a world title match. Let's do our moves. Do our thing, and then Seth's gonna win. And it was just, it had no energy, nothing. And I thought the same. I mean, Gunther and Matt Riddle too. Like
they were doing the thing with Riddle's wrist and everything.
Yeah.
So I can kind of give that one a pass because it's like they were building the match around the injury or whatever. So that was kind of a different thing,
right? Well, and it was ultimately just to give the Drew McIntyre return for the Gunther Drew McIntyre match, which will come soon and will probably kick ass.
Yeah, correct. And it looks like he probably re-signed then. So, and then the Rollins Balor match, it was just a nothing match, which is weird because I thought the angles coming in were pretty good.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And again, it's for some title that no one could possibly care about. I mean, it's just a fabricated, created title with no history. But I say that, but their fans, like, they can do no wrong. Like, anything they throw at their fans eat it up. They're just a different breed of fan now, Rich. We're going to be more and more disconnected from this company.
It is. Yeah, it's gonna happen more. Because, I know I see people all the time being like, oh, it's finally good that Raw finally has a champion again. I'm like, what? Okay.
It's like, ugh, that's not the point of these fucking titles. It's like,
Right.
How many more? Then Roman will win this one, and then we're going to make another one just to have a fucking another. It's ridiculous, So it's hard for me as a fan to give a shit. I don't know. Whatever. This fucking company sucks.
John Cena then came out during the show too and said that he wants WrestleMania.
Oh, what the fuck was that?
Well, very good points brought up by Sue Williams in our review at voicesofwrestling.com. Is it possible that somebody's a little jealous of Wembley Stadium?
Of That's 100% what it was.
Somebody's upset.
And they're probably going to run a WrestleMania there to beat whatever the AEW show
right, and
is.
get subsidies for it, and get paid to do it.
Right. And it probably will beat it because it's WrestleMania. They'll make sure it does. They'll make sure they send WrestleMania there, which is guaranteed to beat whatever AEW does because it's WrestleMania. Although with the amount of people they're putting in there, I don't know if it's a guarantee anymore, to be honest. I mean, that show's
getting
be a hard number.
Yeah, they're getting about to 75,000. I mean, they're very close. We'll probably talk about that in the next couple of weeks. They are very close to setting the all-time legit attendance record in wrestling history.
So it won't be a layup. Even if they put WrestleMania there, it won't be a layup. But of course that's what that was. Something I was thinking about. Do you think they inadvertently helped AEW because the common fan will confuse the two shows and think that WrestleMania is at Wembley?
I don't know. No, I don't think so.
I don't know. It's kind of like how everyone's parents just calls video games Nintendo. I mean, the wrestling is at Wembley, right? WrestleMania is at Wembley because it's wrestling. I think it's a non-zero amount of tickets they're going to sell because of John Cena. I'll say that.
Okay, that's fair. That someone's going to look up and say, there's that wrestling show going on at Wembley. We should go.
WrestleMania is at Wembley. Yes. And then take their fucking kids because they think it's what John Cena was talking about. They don't know people don't know the difference. Rich, my wife doesn't know the difference. You know what I mean? Like, to her, it just be everything's fucking WrestleMania.
Right. That's why I always get WWE related gifts like by my aunts and stuff. They're always like, here you go. Here's this, Triple H DVD compilation. I'm like, oh, great. Yeah. Like, you still like wrestling, right? Yeah, here you go. Here's, Thy Kingdom Come. It's like, oh, great. Thanks. Yeah.
It's the one you always bring up. You have such
I remember that because,
PTSD from getting.
I know, and it was just like, oh, thanks, yeah. They're like, you still like wrestling, right? I was like, oh my god, I'm like 30, and my aunt's just like, I'm just thinking of them like shopping for me. You know what I mean? And being like, he's still into wrestling, right? And they're like, yeah, I think so. And then, it's Triple H like on the cover, like flexing with water spitting out of his mouth. And they're like, yeah, let's get him this. It's just like, oh man, is that what you think of me, really? Like, man, that's why I don't want gifts.
That's
why I don't want
gifts. Why don't you sit down and enjoy it one day? Why don't you sit down?
Thy Kingdom Come, yeah. Maybe one of these days. Yeah.
Enjoy a little Thy Kingdom Come. Why don't you
Hopefully there's some Randy Orton matches in there to really,
get your juices flowing.
Yeah. Oh, can't wait. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Did you listen to the press conference? Speaking of Thy Kingdom Come, I'm sure Triple H was asked about several major hit topics during this press conference.
I totally hand waved them now because
I have no idea what was said. I don't know what was done. No idea. I'm sure nobody asked, hey, where's your wife? Is she ever gonna emerge from the public spotlight ever again, or is she gone forever? Why did you vote no on Vince and then vote yes? I'm sure all those were asked and addressed. And
we have a new media dummy, this Steve Fall guy. Have you seen this Steve Fall?
I don't know who Steve Fall is, but
I think his name is Steve Fall. He works for NBC Boston or some shit.
Okay.
Someone in the chat will get the outlet, and I think his name is Steve Fall. He is the new fucking media dummy. Like the other day he tweeted, he doesn't understand why people complain about the canned noise on WWE shows because they do it on sitcoms. So, yeah, these are the people covering. He's the guy that went to the presser and marked out for Damian Priest and said he was so thrilled to be part of the show when they. That's what's in the room. So why would I watch these things?
I'm never gonna watch them.
People like Steve Fall are in the room. It's a complete buffoonery, and that's the thing too. Like, people are so into WWE now, they'll literally defend anything they do. Like defending the fake, they concede that it's fake noise now. They now say it's good. It's good that there's fake noise.
Right.
It's good. Oh, if it's a bad crowd, just fake the noise, and it's the same experience. No, but like that they just defend anything now. Can we move off of this company? I can't.
Let's move.
There has to be something else to talk about because
there is. Well, sort of. It's kind of about WWE, but it's about longtime legal representative Jerry McDevitt will no longer represent WWE in their ongoing antitrust lawsuit with MLW. McDevitt told WrestleNomics that he is, quote, transitioning towards retirement. Aren't we all sort of transitioning towards retirement? But anyway, the actual quote that WrestleNomics got from McDevitt says, quote, as you may know, since early 2022, I have been working towards retirement. I had hoped that the court would again dismiss MLW's lawsuit as it did the first time. When it did not, and it became obvious that this case would run until at least 2025 in all probability, I advised my client that I would be wrapping things up by year end and that it would make sense for them to secure counsel who can go the distance on the case now that discovery will be starting. There's also a chance that I may be a witness given the allegations. I will be 74 this January, and it just seems like the right time to make necessary transition. We have worked with Paul Weiss on other matters, and they are an excellent firm who I will be hoping to get up to speed. I forget, it was Paul Weiss, Rick, there was like 10 names in whatever this law firm was. But ends here saying, it has been a great 36-year run with a great company and Vince McMahon, and I am very proud of all that we accomplished during that time, and I will continue to help them any way that I can. So this is interesting. This is a little juicy here. So Jerry McDevitt, who has been the long time, like 36 years there, 36 years he has been with this company representing Vince McMahon over all the many cases that Vince McMahon has dealt with all throughout the years. Every one of them, he's been here for the ride. But this one, he's not going to see this one through because he says this is going to take too long and I don't really want to be here for this. But I did find it interesting that last sentence. There is also a chance that I might be a witness given the allegations. So I thought that was an interesting little nugget there that he threw in. Also, obviously crediting Vince, not saying, Nick Khan or Paul Levesque or Vince. Great company and Vince. So if you had any doubt who was, in charge of things, it's Vince. But it's interesting from a few different aspects. Like, this is a guy who's been their representative through everything that WWE has done. That he's been with them, but he's bouncing. He doesn't want to hang around for this one. Doesn't want to be along. He does say there though that it has become obvious that this case would run until at least 2025, and that discovery will be starting. So this case is still going, which we haven't really talked about this MLW WWE case in a while. But last month WWE filed a motion to dismiss. The judge denied that. And, MLW is alleging that, WWE interfered in their media deals and that, prevented the company as well as other companies from securing TV deals or media partnerships. And now this thing we got timelines on like when discoveries are going to happen, when this hearing is supposed to happen, and this stuff's going until July 2024, May 2025. Like, we got this thing is not going away until somebody pays somebody. And it does not look like WWE wants to pay MLW. I don't know what's going on with this thing, man, but I am stunned that this trial is still happening. This lawsuit, I should say, is still happening.
They got a shot at this thing, huh? They got a shot at this thing.
Yeah, and like, are they going to win? I don't know, but man, they're going to take home a lot of money. At some point during this, WWE is going to say, all right, what do you guys want? Here's the checkbook. Put your fucking name to sign it, put the number you need, and let's get this thing over with. Because, man, I don't know. I can't believe it's still going. They thought for a while it was. I mean, it kind of got dismissed. Remember, the one judge said this lawsuit's stupid. There's nothing here, but said come back with something. MLW, your side, come back with something.
No, he said it's good, but I would present it a different way.
Right.
That's what he said.
Yeah, sort of in that sense. Like, I have to dismiss this, but it's good. So come back with a little bit more. Here. Yeah, have something. You got something, but you need to do a little bit more with this. They came back, and it's been going. And WWE said, hey, this is stupid. This needs to be dismissed. And that judge said, no, this does not need to be dismissed. There's something here. So it's like, well, okay. Uh-oh, that's not good. So I don't know.
love that. I love that the Bunny beating Roman Reigns head to head is like part of the WWE's defense of their.
Right. Look, we're not that good. The Bunny beat us. the Bunny.
Yeah. MLW's got a chance at this thing. You know,
they really do. Oh my God, Court.
You think they're just holding out for like some nominal payments?
Absolutely.
You know,
absolutely.
To keep them alive another 3 years or whatever.
Absolutely. Because I think WWE thought that they could just keep these guys in court for long enough that court would run out of money or whatever, and for some reason MLW hasn't done that yet. I don't know the ins and outs of this. I don't know law enough, but it's like I think WWE thought, okay, these guys eventually the judge is going to laugh about this and throw them out, or MLW is going to run out of money and just say, all right, we'll settle for pennies on the dollar or whatever. But they're not going anywhere. The judge is keeping this thing alive. McDevitt's like, fuck this, I'm out. I'm not sticking around till 2025 for this. I don't know, man. It's weird. This thing can't get to Discovery, right? Because that's going to be bad. That's not going to be good.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, there you go. MLW, WWE lawsuit. But WrestleNomics had that, so credit to them. Getting quotes from the man himself, Jerry McDevitt. Of course, WWE's longtime lawyer there. But Joe, the world of MLW, as we know, does not stop. So let's quickly go over Never Say Never. They have a show July 8th from the famed 2300 Arena, the former ECW Arena. It is available on Fight Plus, which you can subscribe to at voicesofwrestling.com/fight. voicesofwrestling.com/fight. Your main event, Alexander Hammerstone versus Alex Kane for the MLW World Heavyweight title. MLW World Tag Team Championship match. Fans bring the weapons. The Samoan SWAT team. Not that one. Lance Anoa'i and Juicy Finau versus The Calling, Akira and Ricky Shane Page. That sounds like my hell. God, I don't want to watch that match at all. God, help me.
I went to a fans bring the weapons match in Lake Hiawatha, New Jersey in 1996.
Yeah.
And I brought a Sega Genesis console, and they used it in the match. And then after the match, we're leaving, and I see the indie wrestlers there, like looking over it, like rubbing their chins. And I'm like, guys, it doesn't work. I promise you. I wouldn't have brought one that worked.
Oh, they were thinking we're going to take this thing home. I'm going to be playing I'll get Sonic 2 fired up by the time I go to bed.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, why would I bring a working
I was going to say, I don't like the idea that you brought a working Genesis, but I'm glad it wasn't.
Yeah, so, but there they were, rubbing their chins, like, let's hook this up and see if this bad boy works. No, it does not work. So maybe someone will bring a Sega Genesis console for The Calling to Samoan SWAT team. By the way, Juicy Finau, not Samoan, by the way. Not Samoan.
Close enough. in the world of professional wrestling, close enough to be Samoan, I guess. So
not even billed from Samoa.
No, not even billed from we're near there.
No.
Yeah, he's
Tongan, I believe.
I believe you are right. Yeah, so I guess that's close enough. I believe he's just like from California though, right?
Oh, like was he born in Tonga?
I'm not even sure he was born in. I think he is Tongan, but I think he's just like from California.
He's not Samoan.
No, he's not. No matter what it is, it's not Samoan. Yeah, regardless of where he's from or whatever, it is not Samoan. So
you hype for that Lance Anoa'i, Noah, what's the name of their fucking tournament?
N1?
It's getting late. Are you ready for his N1 run or
no.
what?
No, I am not. No? Not really. Okay. No. No.
Just asking questions, Rich. I'm
Lance
just asking questions.
Lance Anoa'i, not that great. Speaking of, great, but maybe not that great of a human, Jacob Fatu will be defending the National Openweight Championship against Calvin Tankman.
Yeah, but Court is the Fatu whisperer. Mm-hmm. He is the whisperer of all problematic wrestlers.
Low key, Teddy Hart. I mean, yeah, any
the whole gang, and Fatu shows up for these matches, so he'll be there. He'll be there defending that national title against Tankman. Now, if you're running a charity show and you send him a deposit, it's a crapshoot, but he'll be there on the 8th.
I will say that man has the worst luck with family emergencies. Let me tell you, he's got a lot of family emergencies that come up, which is it's unfortunate, but they tend to spring up a lot. But good for him. defending the National Open title against Calvin Tankman. Winner take all MLW World Women's Featherweight Championship and the WXW Women's Championship will be on the line. Delmy Exo versus Ava Everett. Winner take all.
The stars.
All the stars and all the titles.
All the titles. Yes, I'm looking forward to this.
Prestigious MLW World Women's Featherweight Championship. Where would you put Delmy Exo's, who I believe is the champion? Where would you put her reign as far as...
okay. Compared to Taya Valkyrie, above it.
Okay, because there's only
Easy
two.
answer.
Yeah, so I wanted... a tough question, but is Delmy better than Taya?
It's close.
It's close.
Yes.
Yeah. So there you go. The World Women's Featherweight Championship. Yes. So, then we have country whipping match: Sam Adonis versus Mance Warner.
I got to be honest. I am not caught up.
You're not caught up on the world of ML Dub?
I am not caught up on the fusion. I can't speak to what led to this encounter because I'm not caught up on the television.
Frankly, it feels like Adonis should probably just... he feels like a guy that could be at the wrong end of a country whipping match no matter what. So.
I feel like he's going to lose that, yes.
Yeah.
I can't see Mance Warner losing a country whipping match.
No.
A county. It's a county whipping match.
I think I misspelled. Yes, I don't think it's a county whipping match. I believe it's a country.
Is it the cunty whipping match? Like you got to call the guy a cunt.
Maybe. What's do you know the county that the 2300 arena is in? I don't know where Philadelphia. I don't know my Pennsylvania counties, but
Bucks County, maybe. I don't know. I'm sure Sean Cedar is in the chat.
Yeah, if somebody could let us know, perhaps it is that. It's that county. It's a very famous whipping match from that sort of county, but it's probably country, and I maybe misspelled it in our run sheet there. But
so to this day, there's two wrestlers that my wife enjoys. The first one is Ronda Rousey. She hears that Joan Jett and she comes flying into the room.
Okay.
Oh, Ronda's on?
Still.
Yes, still. Ronda's on? Is that Ronda? I'm like, yes, that's Ronda. She will sit down and watch Ronda. Now, she may not stay for the whole match. She does get bored and then call me a dork and leave. But if she hears bad reputation, she will come into the room and see what's going on with Ronda. For whatever reason. The other one is Mance Warner because she says, and I quote, he's like every guy I went to high school with who still lives in Caldwell.
Yep.
So that appeals to her.
Good old Manser. Yeah.
He reminds me of every guy I went to high school with who still lives in that town.
Right. Goes to the same bar, hangs out with the same people.
Right. Correct. Which is his gimmick, to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely. So, absolutely. Yeah.
Right.
Microman in the main event versus Jesus Rodriguez. That's the former Ricardo Rodriguez. And the FBI, Little Guido and Ray Jazz.
Listen, I need to know which main event this is. And there's like 3 tag teams going around.
Okay, let me make sure which one this is. You're right. There are a couple main events.
There's the circus-themed main event.
Right.
There's, there's the main events, and maybe there's only 2. But
I think there's only 2. Yeah, I think this is...
I think one retired, like the guy retired. I think there's only one main event now.
You're right. I think the one is done. But this is the team, I believe, of... Man, I don't know if this is that team. This is Jay Lyon and Midas Black. That's the main event. I don't believe that's
that one.
Yes, of course. I know that probably clears up well for you.
Yeah.
But I believe I honestly I don't remember if this is this is the circus performer ones, I think.
Oh, okay.
I think.
Right.
I don't remember now, but there are.
Yes, it is. I remember seeing them on Fusion.
Yeah,
it is.
right.
Yeah. Well, I think both teams were circus themed, but one is more heavily circus themed.
Right. One has like a top hat. Like this is the one where the guy has the top hat and the cane, and the other, yeah.
Is
and then
this the one where the one guy jumps through the ring?
Yes,
and does the flip?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah,
yes.
Okay.
Apparently, Philadelphia is in Philadelphia County. So,
all right, that makes sense.
There you go. What do you think of Ray Jazz? Is he is this a wink wink nudge nudge Italian or I don't know anything about Ray Jazz.
Rich, we're 3:10 in. I don't have any thoughts on Ray Jazz. I gotta be honest.
You had no Ray Jazz thoughts?
I have no thoughts on Ray Jazz.
Yeah,
I gotta watch the TV.
I won't lie. Looks Italian. I would buy that man's Italian.
All right. Wait, what do you mean by that?
Well, trust me. Look up Ray Jazz. You'll see him. He looks Italian. Do it later.
Let me see if I'm going to be offended here.
No, you're not. He looks like a good Italian boy.
Let's see. That man looks very Italian.
That's what I'm saying. Like, there's no doubt that he's Italian.
This is one Guido motherfucker.
Yeah.
This guy.
So I'm glad they found a fully blooded Italian for the FBI. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Are you on his Instagram? There's a picture of him in like high school, and he's the most Italian looking kid you've ever seen.
Yeah.
The most Jersey Italian looking kid you've ever seen in your life. Yeah.
Apparently, he worked 205 Live as Ray Jazakov.
Okay.
I thought it said Ray Jagoff, and I was like, "That's a great Italian gimmick."
Yeah, that's a really, really brash 205 Live gimmick, but I appreciate it.
Like, look at this Jagoff.
Yeah,
that would
Ray
have been great.
Jagoff. Yeah,
But it's Jazakov.
Yeah,
this Ray Jazz.
Pretty Italian.
Yeah, this is
also appears to not own sleeves. There's no pictures of him wearing sleeves at any point in his life. So
he's every one of my cousins who's a Yankee fan. That's what he is. He's a guy when I go back to New Jersey still talking about Derek Jeter. That's what this guy is.
That's Ray Jazz, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, God. I'll go as quick as possible here. Willie Mack versus O'Shea Edwards versus Ken Broadway versus Nolo Kitano versus Love Doug. Scramble match. Great. Ishiban versus TJ Carter.
It's Ken Broadway. Who, do you remember the GCW 24-hour gimmick during the pandemic?
Yes.
And Ken Broadway wrestled on every fucking hour of that thing
yes,
to the point.
Yes, he did.
Where I never wanted to see Ken Broadway ever wrestle again. And here we go. I'm going to have to watch fucking... Wait a minute. Is Love, Doug one wrestler?
Love, Doug is one wrestler, yes.
I really got to catch up on my ML dub. Because I don't know what's going on.
You don't know who Love, Doug is. And... he's Pro Wrestling's Cupid, is what it says here. He appears to have a Cupid gimmick. Yes,
I hate him already.
Yeah, I've never seen him, but I am positive you hate him.
I hate Love, Doug. What an awful. I hate him, and I don't even know what he looks like, how he works. He might be Toshiaki Kawada for all I know. Between the bells, I
don't think so, but you never know. Ishiban versus TJ Crawford, Tiara James versus Becca, spelled with a 3.
Doesn't TJ Crawford play shortstop for the Mariners?
Yes, he's moonlighting as a professional wrestler now. Yeah, TJ Crawford. Tiara James versus
MLW.
Apparently, Tiara James versus Becca with a 3. The E is a 3, of course. Gene Snitsky, yes, that one, versus TBA, the Always Dangerous TBA. Couldn't find a booking yet. Always dangerous, though. Never knew who was going to come through that curtain there.
Listen, based on recent history, that's probably Satoshi Kojima. That's my guess, because he's always the mystery guy, Kojima. It's going to be Snitsky in there.
Strongest arm, baby.
Dun, dun, dun. I'll pop. I'll pop, too.
Oh, yeah.
That man's a former MLW world champion.
I'm doing it right now. That's going to be a big spot there in the 2300 arena. Gets that elbow pad going. Yeah, let's do this thing.
All-time theme.
Oh, it's so good.
One day I'm going to put together the brackets for the all-time theme. Make it an interactive thing for the listeners. And I hope that makes a run to the Sweet 16. I think it would probably get knocked off at that point.
It would get knocked out. Yeah, somebody would vote, but they'd be wrong.
Like the Demolition theme will beat it or something, but I really would like to see it make a nice run.
The second gear crew, Matthew Justice, one called Manders versus The Calling, another The Calling. This time it's Delirious and Dr. Cornwallis.
Good to see Delirious finding some work, huh?
Yeah, Hunter.
All right.
Old Hunty finding another gig. So anyway, good for him. Also, this weekend, real quickly before we depart here from the show, RevPro Epic Encounter 2023, York Hall, July 9th. Great O'Khan versus Michael Oku is your main event. RevPro undisputed British heavyweight title match. Excited for that one.
This is the final stop on the road to Copper Box, Rich, is what this is. O'Khan could lose that. He very
definitely
well
could
lose that.
He definitely could.
Did you know that he is undefeated? Did you know that?
I do know that.
Gideon Gray will remind you.
Hell yeah, he will.
If you weren't aware that he is undefeated. I would like him to win this and then lose it on the bigger show. But I haven't seen any of the June RevPro. I'm caught up through May. So I got to catch up on the June Rev. I don't know how many shows they even ran, to be honest, in June. but I know that that's it. Basically, this York Hall show is it until the big show in the Copper Box, which is at about 2,300 tickets sold right now with only one match announced.
Yeah.
They'll announce more matches after this show when there's more clarity on. They ran a couple shows in June. I don't know if any of them were big shows, but and I guess they just ran live in London 2 days ago or whatever. Didn't seem to be much on it. Leighton Buzzard versus Oku was the main event. Leon Slater versus Callum Newman. I'll check that out. That might be good. Anyway, this is the last stop on the road to the Copper Box.
Yep.
So,
Always the New York Hall shows are always definitely worth watching.
I don't even think that's true. When is the Copper Box show?
That's August second to last week of August or last week of August for sure.
All right, there's a couple more stops, but the point,
last big stop, last major
yeah.
stop on the road there. How about that?
Yes.
RevPro undisputed British tag team titles: Greedy Souls, Brendan White and Danny Jones defending against Subculture, Flash Morgan Webster and Mark Andrews. Obviously, no longer a part of WWE, so they're making the rounds again, and that's good. You know that I think helps the scene a lot, having guys like that, you know, being able to come back and be in big spots. So yeah, there you go. Greedy Souls versus Subculture. That should be pretty fun.
They've had some good matches in Impact.
Yeah, they have. Yeah.
And Flash Morgan Webster has dropped the fucking the fucking Austin Powers gimmick. He doesn't do the fucking mod shit with the fucking with the dopey Pete Rose haircut.
Yeah.
And the
stupid glasses and
stupid glasses. Thinking he's from another fucking decade. Are there people running around in England that still do that? Like
you're asking the wrong guy. I don't know.
Non-ironically, like non-ironically.
I don't think so. I don't.
Or is it more like a Halloween outfit?
I think it's a Halloween outfit. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
anyway,
then they go groovy, baby. You're like, all right, cool. Yeah. They do a really terrible Austin Powers impression. You're like, okay, great, cool.
Well, wasn't he like mocking that? Like, I don't think they really say. I don't.
Yes, it was. The movie was indeed supposed to be tongue in cheek. I believe it was
a mock up. I believe. I think it was a comedy film.
I think that was not supposed to be an authentic representation of the. You know what English I still people.
Pop for to this day, though. I will tell you, when he's in the fucking golf cart. In the hallway
I was about to say the golf cart scene. Yeah, the golf cart scene, and it goes on so much longer. It goes on so much longer than you think, and that's what makes it good. You're like, okay, the joke's done. We get it. And then it goes on, and then it gets funny again. You're like, okay, it's funny again. This is incredible. Yeah.
Like a lot of people like to talk about Dr. Evil and all that shit. No, I pop for the golf cart in the hallway. That's still funny.
Oh yeah, because it's subtle-ish humor. You know what I mean? And then it just lasts forever. It's never ending, and that's where it gets. Yeah, it's a great scene.
Yeah,
all-time great scene. RevPro undisputed British Cruiserweight title: Robbie X versus Connor Mills.
Robbie X has been good. I'm telling you.
Connor Mills too.
He's been good.
Changed this whole thing. Yeah,
that's right. One of the most improved wrestlers in the world. I think it's time for a title switch there. But those are two guys who have really upped their game.
Then we have Southside Women's title, RevPro undisputed British Women's title unification 4-way elimination match. You got all that? Alex Windsor.
Long overdue. I mean, to unify these fucking titles.
How long have we been saying that? Almost as long as the show's existed, we've said, can we unify the Southside Women's title and the RevPro undisputed British Women's title? Come on, like, Jesus Christ, right? Come on.
I mean, I was being like serious, but yeah, that's good.
Thought you're being facetious here.
We've unified all the others. Like, what are we waiting for here?
But Alex Windsor, Sky Smithson, Danny Luna, and Hyon will be here. 4-way elimination match. So
yes.
I imagine it comes down to the two champions, Windsor and Smithson, to decide who's going to unify this. But we'll see. We'll see what ends up happening. Zack Sabre Jr. versus Jordan Breaks, and then Will Ospreay versus Leon Slater. I want to put those two together because that's an interesting bookings for both those guys.
Yeah, and I think we're going to find out what Sabre's doing at Copper Box probably after this show. They got Tom Lawlor on this show against Luke Jacobs, which Jacobs is another guy. He's like, I'm telling you right now, he's like a mini Walter. He's just, I've been so blown away by his work this year. He's another one along with who's one of the most improved guys around.
Yeah.
So, there'll be a lot of clarity, hopefully, on the Copper Box show, and they'll announce some more matches after this. But this will probably look the York Hall shows with or without. Have they run without Ospreay this year? I can't remember, but basically they've been doing around 1,000, maybe a couple hundred, 800, 900 for these shows. They're drawn pretty well. This one should draw well as well with the Okan Oku match and Ospreay and Zack Sabre Jr. being on the show. It just shows you what poison the Progress brand is now, because
dude, they can't get anybody to go to their shows, man. Nobody cares.
Yeah, they announced the Copper Box show, and everybody knows that it's going to be built around Ospreay, and they sell 1,800 tickets or whatever it is. Then they announce Ospreay Shingo, and now they're around 2,300 tickets, right? These shows in York Hall always do around 1,000 fans, give or take 100 fans here or there. I don't think they're really packing it the way they were pre-pandemic, but it's close. And then Progress announces Will Ospreay, and they draw 208 fans with Ospreay announced. And it shows you what poison that brand name is, because Ospreay's drawing for these RevPro shows, and Progress has whatever they have left in terms of fans, and that's who's going no matter what. And they undoubtedly lost their ass on that show, because I'm sure Ospreay held them over a barrel. First of all, with the Paul Robinson stuff, he basically blackmailed them to get on the fucking show. And I'm sure he held them over a barrel fucking rate-wise to work it, because he's annoyed at them. And, and then they draw 208 fans. And I know it's 208 because a friend of mine over there took a picture of the fucking clicker at the door that said 208. So it was exactly 208 fans that show drew. But anyway, this show will probably draw the usual, about 1,000. And then we'll find out, what's going on with the Copper Box show, which, when they start announcing more, that's another big show that we'll be talking about in August, which is basically the one key piggyback show to the Wembley show. So I think it's the day before.
Yeah. We have a lot with the schedules of all those shows, all the piggyback shows of all the major events up at voiceofwrestling.com right now as well. SummerSlam, All In. And All Out, and All In. There's not a great lineup of stuff going around, but that RevPro show does feel like the lone exception there. That looks like a really, really good show. So if you're traveling to the area, that's one that you're definitely going to want to go to. But where it stands now, you don't know a whole lot of matches. But I agree with you that after this epic encounter, we probably will have a much better idea of what's going to go on at that show. So July 9th, York Hall. RevPro's got their streaming service, so if you want to watch that live this weekend, you can do that, also on demand. But that's July 9th for RevPro Epic Encounter, and that is it for us here on the Flagship Podcast. Thank you guys, of course, for sticking with a few little technical difficulties here and there earlier in the show, but we got it all together, got the full 3 hours in, we are good to go. So voicesofwrestling.com for previews, reviews, columns, Voice Wrestling Podcast Network, make sure you subscribe to that, as well as each show's individual feed, voicesofwrestling.com/Discord, and then, of course, flagship.patreon.com, patreon.com/voicesofwrestling, voicesofwrestling.com/Patreon. If you want even more content from Joe and I, we are doing that there. Thursday Dynamite reviews. You did a review roulette talking about, the differences between AEW Collision and AEW Dynamite. I did a piece about DJ Rand, WCW's house DJ in 1999. That is up there as well. We got audio series, November to Remember. I got my Sky's the Limit Cruiserweight Classic series. I got my AWF series. We got a ton of stuff up there that we're doing, as well as the live flagships, live instant reactions, all that stuff available for you over at flagshippatreon.com. Patreon.com/voicesofwrestling and voicesofwrestling.com/Patreon. So follow us on all these dumb Twitter clones that we're not going to really post on and just post links to, but hey, follow us anyway. And that's it for us. So that is Joe. I'm Rich. We will talk to you next time on the Flagship Podcast. Take care.
Hola, my name is Ricardo. I am the host of the Lucha Jovers podcast here in the Voices of Wrestling Podcast Network. We are a Spanish-speaking show dedicated to discussing and analyzing pro wrestling from all across the world. From AEW to CMLL, we talk about American wrestling, Japanese wrestling, and of course, Lucha Libre. If something big happened in the pro wrestling world, we will talk about it. So if you know Spanish or have a friend that knows Spanish or want to practice your Lucha Libre pronunciations, go listen to the Lucha Jovers podcast right here in the Voices of Wrestling Podcast Network. Nos vemos por ahí.
Music. It's not just part of our daily lives, it's part of our wrestling fandom as well, and it has been for decades. That's where this show comes in. Music of the Mat, the podcast devoted exclusively to the music of pro wrestling, hosted by Andrew Rich. Hey, that's me. Each episode delivers a different topic with a variety of great guests, fun conversations, musical analysis, and of course, a heartfelt pun or two. New episodes drop every other Tuesday on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or your podcast app of choice. Check out Music of the Mat only on the Voices of Wrestling Podcast Network.